Go for beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in Friday. We love it. Oh, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn will be along shortly. What up, B. Brooks? How we doing?
Bro, as soon as we went into the credits to start the show, that damn watch turned on. The alarm turned on. I jumped up so quick. I'm like, I ain't going for it this time.
Oh, my God. I think you got to get that out of the room, man. That's the
right,
move.
right. Well, you know what? I left it downstairs, so I mean, it's my fault. I left it downstairs.
I hear you. Yeah. So people that may have missed yesterday, we were trying to figure out there was this weird. It didn't sound like your typical alarm. So we're like, what the heck is that, man? And it would always hit right at 12. Yeah. So Barrett goes hunting during one of the commercial breaks and finds it. And it was his wife's Apple Watch that had an alarm set for noon for whatever reason, with this sort of like goofy arcade like sound.
Yeah. So I'm like, what? First of all, why is the watch in my office?
Yes.
That's the question.
That's a good question. That's one you have to figure out on your own.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Nobody should be down here. Nobody should be in here.
But I remember yesterday you just sort of like tossed it aside when we were in show, and I'm like, you better grab that thing or else we're going to be in the same boat tomorrow. And we're in the same boat, but you got
it. Exactly.
You got it. We see everybody. What's up? What's up, everybody? Appreciate you hanging out. Yes, as Chris says, thank you. Smash that like button. We do appreciate
we do.
that. But we see you, Chris. We see you, Television Man. SJ, Puff the Magic Dragon, Bird, A-Dog, Anthony, Dank, Espo, Johnny Dickerson, Jeremy Brewer, William Randolph. What's going on, kids? Oh, there he is. There's the gunner.
I apologize, boys.
What craziness around the house happened now?
Man, I can't get these dogs to come in, man. These dog, I'm out in the yard. People look at me like I'm a Keystone cop. Come on. I'm trying to entice them with a treat. They're like, man, you ain't pulling that on us anymore, man. I almost had to threaten them. I almost had to get my bug assault gun. No, I'm just kidding. For all you dog lovers, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
I hear you, man. I hear you. What's up, Adam? What's up, Kavai? I think that's how you pronounce that. See everybody today. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Good to be hanging with you guys on a Friday. Always a little more pep in the step on a Friday, man. Let's face it. Doesn't matter what the situation is, you know, what's going on. Friday gives you a little bit more oomph, I think. That's for sure. But we got a lot to get to today. We got Scott Fransky coming up, Phillies radio broadcaster. And believe it or not, guys, we have a Phillies game tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon at 1:00. Phillies will be playing the split squad, but they're back at it tomorrow. Scott will be calling the game on WIP. We'll talk to Scott at 12:30. And then 1:00, one of our favorites and does an amazing job and has done for a very long time in the Philadelphia market and on our channel as well, JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. That's G Cobb. Gary Cobb's going to join us at 1:00. I think we've had G on like once or twice around the draft.
We had him on one time.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
And he was on with us for our draft show too, Gunner. In person with Seth. You remember G hopped on for a little bit. Yeah.
Yes,
so
matter of fact, yes, he did, because they were doing another show. It was him, Devin Caney, and Mark Farzetta.
That's right.
They did Friday, Saturday, I believe. We did Thursday night. Me, you, Mike Quick, Seth.
Yes.
Correct? Yeah.
Yes. No, right. Exactly. So that's going to be that. Hopefully, you know.
See, Barrett, my mind ain't gone as much as you think it is.
I'm not making any plans for anybody, but hopefully G will be able to join us if we do our draft show there again, which I think we will do from Ocean Casino Resort, which we love. So a couple things, guys, to get to besides G and Scott coming up. So we're looking forward to that. We had a playoff-like atmosphere last night in South Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. That was the Sixers and the Grizz, when we previewed it yesterday, you know, we're all saying how excited we are and the second half is starting and all that. And it lived up to the hype. Sixers win 110-105. This is a game. They trailed by 17, guys. They were down 37-22 after the first. It looked like we get all excited for this, and here we go, and they don't show up. Embiid's sick. He can't hit a shot. It was all the sort of like, here we go again crap. And to their credit, and especially Embiid, he didn't stop playing on the other end. He played great defense. I think it's the best defensive game he's played as a pro. And I've seen him play, and that's saying something. Yeah, I'm telling you. He played that well defensively, and they just collectively figured it out, man. And they had some really clutch moments. Embiid did on the defensive end. Harden did on the offensive end. Tobias Harris had some big moments. Maxey, who struggled early, dialed in. It's the kind of game where you look at it and you say, okay, if you want me to come back and start believing in you that you can maybe get out of the second round, that's what last night was for me.
The most amazing thing is the Sixers didn't even lead until late in the fourth quarter. That was their first lead of the game.
Real late, Gunner. Real late. Yeah.
When they were down by double digits in the fourth quarter, I'm thinking, okay, the game's over. But Ja Morant didn't even hit a field goal until something like late in the third.
They did a great job on him, I thought, all night, really. He
was 3 of 16 on the night.
Really good job on him.
I was shocked. But I tell you what, dude, Sixers had 10 blocks and Embiid had 6. Memphis had 7 blocks. 17 blocks. Dude, they were playing the whole game above the rim, man.
It was unlike what you usually get in an NBA regular season game defensively.
Oh, my goodness.
That's why I say it was really like a playoff. Those guys were dialed in on that end. I'm telling you, man.
Well, this is a measuring rod. This is a measuring rod games, and they're going to have a lot of these games for the last half of this season. It's time. This is where you start growing number one as a team leading into the playoffs and what you're going to do in playoff situations. So I'm glad it happened, man. I'm glad it happened. Yeah.
And the block Embiid had on Ja Morant is to me, it's better than any poster dunk you're going to see.
Absolutely.
There's more athleticism, skill, will in that than somebody getting up and throwing down over somebody else. It was nothing short of awesome.
It looked like a Ja Morant type of block.
Yeah,
he snatched it out the air.
It was straight up awesome.
You saw the Jackson block on Embiid, and you're like, oh, I'm not used to seeing Embiid get a block. Then in the fourth quarter, oh man, Jackson is sick. Woo. That whole, that whole Memphis team is so athletic and so fast.
I'm with you. Look, dude, I'm telling you, man. And I know, they're seeded right now. They're 2,
number 2.
Right?
Yep.
I wouldn't want any parts of them in the Western Conference if I'm any other
agree.
team. And they're tough, Derek. There's a toughness to that team.
Yes. Dude, they don't back down.
Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? If you look at them body-wise, physically, they're not a lot of big dudes, but they're fearless, dude. Yeah. They'll take the charge. They don't care.
Nope.
They don't care at all.
It's the new wave NBA these days. You look at how Boston is constructed the same way.
Yep.
These smaller, fast, all the wing guys are about the same height. 6'7", 6'8". The Embiids have become dinosaurs, man. Even though he played at a high level, man, it's not a lot of them playing right now. So it's almost like that's when I was equating how the 76ers should morph into being. It's kind of like what you see with the Celtics and what you see with the Grizzlies as far as the speed of the game. Just a bunch of guys around 6'7", 6'8", on the entire team.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny you should say that, Barrett, because if you go back to just a couple of years ago, that Miami team, when they were so good defensively, they didn't have a lot of stars except Jimmy Butler on their team, but that entire team was all 6'7", 6'8". The biggest guy was 6'9".
Yeah.
And they got to the conference finals.
Right.
But you're right. You start, even like teams like Toronto, you're starting to see more and more teams like that, man. The 6'8", 6'9" team. They, the guys that can move up and down the court.
Right.
They can flat out go
on the wing too.
Yeah.
Down low and on the wing.
Yes.
I'm with you. Look, I'm with you. And I want to give some love to Harden. He's first of all, he's had a really good year. And you look at last night again, he came up big for them, 31-7-7.
Yeah.
He had 13-5 in the fourth quarter alone.
Wow.
He passed Iverson, by the way, on the all-time scoring list, which is a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah, it is.
And he hit a 3 in the corner late with the shot clock running down. That was an insane shot.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Insane shot. And he's been look, I know he's got detractors. I get it. He's had an excellent year for them this season.
He has. Nothing more typified him sacrificing the body than that play in the final seconds of the game where he dove, got the ball, flipped it to Embiid for the solo dunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he looks a little awkward at times when he does what he does, but I tell you what, it's effective. His driving to the paint, we talked about that earlier in the season about how slow and methodical it's become, and he's not getting the calls that he used to get with the theatrics. But he's still doing it. Man, he stepped back and bust some huge threes, man. I mean, just nothing but net. I mean, he didn't touch rim, nothing on some of his threes. He still got the J. I'll give him that. And because he's evolved his game into that facilitator now as well, that makes him an incredible dual threat now.
Yeah, I agree. And he looks more athletic than last year. He's never going to be back to that old guy. That's done. But he looks more athletic. I think maybe that calf, wasn't right last year. And I also think it was just like the whole thing from Brooklyn to here, or whatever. I think he settled, and he and Embiid have a nice little thing going with the pick and roll. And, and again, other guys stepped up. Tobias Harris hit some big shots for them. Maxey hit some. Maxey is just a blur on the floor.
Oh, my goodness.
So
on offense.
Oh,
his body control is
defense
ridiculous.
He struggles, but yeah.
As fast as he moves, his body control is ridiculous when he drives the lane. I mean, most guys are out of control. Prime example, you look like at a Russell Westbrook. You don't know when he drives, you don't know as athletic as he is.
Yeah.
He plays out of control at times. But you look at a Maxey, man, it doesn't make a difference which way he's driving. Everything is control, and he'll drive and stop. He's got that soft touch off the window too, and I love that. That's difficult to do when your body's moving different. All your momentum's going one day, and he still, man, he kisses the window like nobody else in the league right now.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that is not it is so hard when you're going 100 miles an hour to be able to finish that thing.
It is, man. It is.
It's wild. It is wild. But yeah, so good win last night. They're 39-19. They're now 20 games over 500. They're right there, and they have. Here's the good thing: they got the Celtics tomorrow night. Celtics tomorrow night at home. Celtics come in at 43-17, but the Sixers are not far off their heels here. So that's going to be another one, just a gigantic game, and we know they're disappointed. The Sixers are from the way the last game in Boston went.
Yeah,
when
against the scrubs,
everybody's out. I think except Tatum, basically, and they lost. That can't happen. So. This will be interesting to see the way that they come out tomorrow night. And
is Boston still nicked up?
I think they're healthier.
Because I saw Jaylen Brown playing in the All-Star game with a face mask. I'm like, why?
I agree. Why would you play in that game? I don't know.
Like, serious?
I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at. Let me see what I'm gonna look at their box score last night. All right. So, they put up 142 points. Boston did. Last night.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. Tatum, Horford, Robert Williams, Smart, and Jaylen Brown. They're healthy again.
So they're all back. Horford was out for a while. Williams was out for a while. Now they're back. Okay, now they're all back. Smart was out
again. Too. Yeah, so they're all back.
Wait, Smart played last night?
Smart played last night.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so they're coming in, full bore, and the Sixers are, full bore, barring any. Embiid was sick last night. It wasn't the foot, but yeah, a lot of big plays down the stretch last night. I'll tell you, it was. Kevin Harlan and Reggie Miller called the game for TNT. Kevin Harlan's awesome. And he just gets up in the moment. He is amazing. I'm telling you, that guy. He's fun. He makes it fun. That's for sure. Let me give a little, because we always talk about the bad stuff, all right? And I always like to point this stuff out when it comes to athletes because they don't get enough love for this kind of stuff. So James Harden has reached out. Gentleman's name is John Howe. It's H-A-O, okay? Sadly, he was one of the shooting victims at Michigan State. Okay, he survived, but he's paralyzed from the waist down.
Oh, I thought the chest down.
Chest down. So Harden, Harden got wind of this, and Harden's his favorite player. So Harden reached out to him, FaceTimed with him from his hospital bed, encouraging him. Just hey, we'll get through this thing, and I just need you to be strong. All that kind of stuff. And
wow.
Yeah, and Harden gave him his cell and said, "Look, it doesn't matter when it is. You need me. I got you. Like we'll talk. We'll talk it through." That's awesome, man.
That is, man. That is.
He didn't have to do that.
Right.
And he gave him a pair of his game worn shoes. He gave him a pair of game shoes and game worn shoes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for Harden to do that, man, Harden has this persona about him that he's distant. Like he doesn't get close to a lot of things, but. You know what, man? I tell you what, I had a lot of respect for his game. I have newfound respect for Harden not just his game, but him as a person, because he didn't have to do that, man.
No,
you know?
not at all. Not at all.
And that's awesome that he did that. And I'm hoping he follows through in terms of keeping in touch with him, catching up on him, you know, things like that. That's awesome for him to do. I wish more athletes would take that approach.
Yeah, and if that gets that guy, if it gives him 5 minutes where he's not thinking about, you know, what happened to him, or or it gives him enough encouragement to you know, fight through and rehab and try and that's it. Like that's you know, James Harden, mission accomplished, man, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, very cool, man. What do we have going on this weekend? What are the plans here? We got anything special happening, boys?
It's supposed to snow tomorrow. I was told.
Flurries.
Oh yeah, are we supposed to get a little bit?
It's too warm to snow.
Yeah. I mean, look at it right now, man. It's absolutely beautiful out here right now. So
yeah, it's gonna be.
I should have did the show from outside. That's why I should have done it.
Yesterday was the day, man. But today's night, though.
Man, my cousin Milwaukee sent me another video. What's today? Friday, Wednesday. They got hit again.
What?
They got hit again, man. He sent me a video of snow on the ground, man. It's like another 7, 8, 9 inches on top of like the 12 or 13 it got a week ago. I said, yeah, okay, get your butt out there and shovel. I am so glad. I love the Midwest. I love the people. One thing about people in the Midwest, they're just good, down to earth people. You know, they talk a lot, but you know, that's okay sometimes. You know, they just talk a lot because they like to talk and talk to people. You know, unlike I always tell people when people ask me what's the East Coast like compared to the Midwest, and I said from Boston to DC, man, people are like zombies in a lot of cases. Man, they just going to point A, point B, like a lot of tension. You know, it's like. But you have good pockets of people up and down the East Coast. Yeah. But for the most part, anywhere you go in the Midwest or the South, people stand there and talk to you all day.
Bro, you know? Here it's like, you know, you ask, hey, how you doing? What do you mean?
Yeah. Look at you. You know.
What are you trying to say?
Right.
Yeah. I'm like, really? I mean, dang, man.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, you know what? I mean, you know, speaking of the Midwest, man, well, the combine starts on Monday.
Right.
And I'm looking at the weather. Sunday, when athletes fly in, it'll be 58 degrees, so no snow there. Ooh. Monday, it'll be 63 degrees, but it'll be rainy. Tuesday's 53. Wednesday's 64. The combine ends on Thursday. It'll be 53. Not till Friday that it'll be rain and snow flurries, but it'll still be 49 degrees. So, you know, at least they miss out on the weather that you usually get during the combine. During the combine is usually, and I was supposed to go this year, but that's another altogether different topic. We're not even going to talk about that.
Where are you going?
Why did you just let you open the door for Gunner? Here we go.
I should be there, bro. I should be there, man. The relationships that I have and all that stuff that I have there, talking to coaches and everything, there's no way I shouldn't be there.
You know, it's funny because every year I would push to go to the combine, and I would have to back off, and the argument was it's not visual. I said, yeah, but some of the interviews you could get, well, we can get that from a feed. You know, which is true, they could, but you want to personalize it in a lot of ways with your people there. But that was one of the few battles, Barrett. I would make my point and then I would let it go because I already knew the answer. First of all, it's not a visual medium for TV. You know, cameras aren't allowed into it. You know, stuff like that. You know, NFL Network and ESPN, because of the TV rights, they have exclusive rights to be in there. Then you're kind of handcuffed in terms of when you can get access. You don't get any one-on-one access, unfortunately. You know, so every time that was presented, I'm like, you know, I fight a lot of battles. I win some, and as Barrett will tell you, there are some things that I will say is like, man, I can't believe you said that, and I just let it go. But I always wanted to go to a combine. It's okay for writers, like the writers is good for, but for a
that
TV
was it right there.
medium, yeah,
that's what it was. They asked me, well, are you going to write?
Yeah. What'd you tell them?
I said, what, my name?
Dang. You were cut right there. That was it.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
you know, if
since
you're a
we're
writer.
sharing, I might as well share. So when I went to the combine, when I was sent by the same company, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they sent me by myself. No writers, one camera person, and I had to produce 3 stories a day on the digital side, written. Packages for the TV side, packages for the digital side.
Damn.
hits for the 3 shows that we were doing at the time, and 2 of the days I co-hosted one of the shows.
That's ridiculous. That's
With me.
atrocious. That's
And
atrocious.
I got back, and there wasn't nary a word from anybody about how
good
it
you
went
did.
when I worked 17-hour days. So
Good job. Nothing.
thank you,
Good-
people.
That's atrocious.
That's when you know,
seems-
friends, you're coming to the end of a job at a
Yeah,
place.
that's
Yes.
atrocious. That's a.
There you go.
It didn't even happen to me. I'm sitting here ticked off. And how long? What year was that?
2018. It was
18.
after the Eagles won
Okay.
the Super Bowl.
So
Yep.
that was 5 years ago.
Yes, sir.
I'm ticked off right now because it happened to you. Because I tell you what, I never would have done it. Barrett, would I have done that?
No.
Ain't no way I would have done it. You might have brought me home early. You know, if that's what you want me to do, if that's what you want me to do, just number one, either don't send me, or number two, you better bring me home tomorrow because I'm not doing that. You shouldn't have to do that in the 4th largest market.
They also purposely sent me with a camera person who isn't exactly a hustler.
Right.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
So we'll
Yeah.
just leave it at that. So it was me.
No, let's keep going, Rob.
It was me trying to encourage said camera person. Hey, come on, we got to get over here. There's so and so. I'm going to get them. I'm going to There's Louis Riddick. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get Bill Polian. And it was pulling teeth. So that was awesome too. Anyway, I'm done.
No,
Feel
it's good.
better.
It's good for the soul to vent.
It is. You're right. You're
It's
right.
good for soul. I do it all the time. Right,
But,
B.
you know,
Brooks?
right. But I'm just saying, like, for me, it's the story within the stories. You know, me being out there, and I'd get the most done. I get the best results from going to that steakhouse that's out there. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
St. Elmo's.
St. Elmo's, go there and all,
Yeah,
sit
order
down.
chicken.
Right. Well, you know what?
Steak
last
is
time I
killer
went-
there, man.
When I worked for NFL Films, they sent me out there and I would have to interview, and I would interview the coaches at the combine. But I'd get my best stuff, the best stories from when we go to St. Elmo's and places like that. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't meet me at the White Castle that's right across the street from the
Stop.
stadium. I mean,
There's
it's
a
right
Shake
there.
Shack right there too, Barrett. Just for
Yeah,
what it's worth.
but I did get some great stories. And I remember I went there, and a couple of guys from NFL Films, they go there, and I walk in, and who do I see there? Russ Grimm.
Wow, your guy.
I almost started to turn around because we happened to have a mic there and a camera there, and he got to talking about stories about everything. He talked about how I became pork chop. He talked about everything. I couldn't stop him from talking. I said, Russ, you've never talked this about to me. For me to get all the dirt on you, of course I'm gonna take advantage of this pork chop. I'm taking advantage of this. So he just told everything, man, everything about what went on. Bro.
I love it, man. That's awesome.
Here's
the funny thing about the combine. You guys know this because you've been there. I'm just telling our audience, but
Right.
you can walk. It could be St. Elmo's, and there's a lot of really good restaurants on this one on the main street there. I forget the name of the main street, whatever it is. There's a ton of them. You could walk in even a little pizza joint, any of them, and see a Hall of Famer here, a Hall of Famer there, an executive here, Roger Goodell there. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like when I walked into St. Elmo's, there was a table with Mike Mayock, and this was before he was hired with the Raiders, and
that's what he was doing. He was college football then.
It might have been college, whatever. Like all these heavy hitter analyst types. The next table over was all the Giants executives, and it's just crazy. It's just it's a small little town. Everybody's staying at around the same hotel, and everything's right there. It's a weird scene.
You know, it's even in a smaller environment. But the food wherever you go is so good. I don't care if it's barbecue seafood. Is a Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama.
Okay, I've never been.
You can go to a casual place or an upper scale place. Next, you know, hey man, that's Rex Ryan sitting over. Hey, you're sitting like 5 feet from him at a table. Yeah. You know, because Mobile is not a big town, but it's such a relaxing town. It's easy accessible to get around. Yeah. They got great barbecue places. They got great seafood places, steak places. Mobile's a great little town. Our buddy Lance Crawford lives down there.
Yes.
Yep.
And every time I go down, I see Lance, and man, we'd have some great meals in Mobile. But you know, Rob, going back to St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
I've eaten at some of the best steakhouses in America. Dicka's, Steakhouse 44 in Phoenix, Burns, which is world famous in Tampa. St. Elmo's and that horseradish sauce you get with the steak. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you. You sitting there like this after the meal.
Yeah, you're done. You're done. If you had any plans after that, they're canceling. You're going back to the room to collapse.
Man.
Yeah, and by the way, A-Dog, you're right. You're right. Dave Zangaro got Rob's job right now. He leaves on Sunday.
Is Dave down there? He's a one-man band? All
Yeah,
right,
he's
good
the
luck,
one-man
Dave.
band. Yep.
Enjoy.
See, I applaud guys like Dave and Rube because they love to write.
Yep.
You know, they love to sit down and write 3, 4, 5 stories. They can kick them out. Sometimes it takes me a half a day to just think of one story angle because you haven't done it enough. And man, I'm still hot, Rob. Can't believe they did that to you, bro.
Hey, I survived.
I'm like,
makes
man,
you stronger.
Y'all can kiss grits. I ain't
gives
doing
you
that.
callus, man. Gives you calluses, makes you stronger.
Hey, I got enough callus in this industry, bro.
I hear you.
Hey, look.
I hear you. All right, listen. So we're coming back. Scott Francie's going to join us, Phillies radio play-by-play voice, and then at 1 o'clock, G Cobb. We'll dive into everything that's happening with the Eagles with G Cobb, and then after G, we'll get a little bit into what some of the costs are for the Eagles' heavy hitter free agents, like what Hargrave may cost, what CJ may cost, and then we'll look at some options at certain positions that the Eagles may need. So we'll get into all those kind of things when we come back on this Friday. Don't go anywhere. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I want to tell you about Jim Murray and Principal Financial Group. And I can tell you from personal experience, man, that finding somebody you trust with your finances is critical. You know that you work too hard to not find the right person and not to take care of your family. And whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, you might have a small business, you're trying to get the employee benefits off the ground. That's another resource that Jim can help you with. I've entrusted my IRA, some 401k rollovers to Jim, and I couldn't be any happier. You will be as well. Give him a call, 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751, or you could email him, Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Hi, I'm Jim Muehlbronner, Managing Partner at Del Val Insurance Group. Give us a call. We're a local, knowledgeable agency, not an 800 number. Go Birds!
are back. Yes, we are. And we are almost into the month of March, which means Phillies baseball is inching closer. Yes, it is. And who better to talk to than the man who did an amazing job during that run last season, just painting the picture, illustrating it. It was an amazing job. And he is Scott Fransky, Phillies radio play-by-play voice. Scott, oh, man, look at you. Look at you in the booth ready to rock and roll. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Why wouldn't I be? I'm watching live BPs here at Baycare Ballpark. The sun is shining. It's about 77 degrees, maybe a little better. I know.
Scott, the boys of summer.
We don't have much room to complain about weather, Scott, but I'm always a little jealous when somebody throws the clear water temperature out there. I got to be honest.
Yeah, it's pretty nice here today for sure.
So they're live BP, and I understand, Scott, they're all trying to acclimate to the pitch clock, right? And they're utilizing that today as well. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, they got the timers going in between each pitch. They've even gone down to, if there's a simulated runner on first base, they'll stretch it out to 20 seconds as opposed to 15. The guys we've seen so far, we saw Wheeler, we saw Craig Kimbrell. I mean, Wheeler's a fast worker anyways. I don't think it's going to bother him too much. Jose Alvarado was out here a minute ago, and we're about to see Sir Anthony Dominguez do the same.
You're muted, Derek.
Scott, got to ask you, do you still get jacked up for that first spring game of a season? Because I'm comparing it to me with preseason football games. I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, okay, get this game over with. I'm serious. I mean, let's get to the regular season, please. Do you still get that juice for that first preseason game?
Yeah, definitely the first one. There's no doubt. I will say, obviously the way the schedule has been the last few years and the way teams run camps, I don't mean just the Phillies, but all teams run camps. You get an at-bat you get to see from the big guns and whatnot. And then it's kind of a learning curve, a host of non-roster players and minor leaguers up for the day and that kind of thing. So it's always great to come down here. It's really exciting just to kind of be in the environment again. I do love getting on the air, and I'm, really looking forward to tomorrow. But I will say, maybe we could apply the same math to a fall preseason where it's only 4 or 5 games, right? There's 20 or so of them for baseball. I'll say after the first 4 or 5, I'm ready to go.
Talk to you in about 3 weeks is what you're trying to say, or whatever it is.
Oh, man.
Scott, well, let me ask you about last year. It had been 11 years, for all of us, to have playoff baseball and that fun and that excitement and that juice that it brings. Did you, at one point in time, did you sort of, whether it was a St. Louis series or the Braves or the Padres or the World Series, did you kind of pinch yourself like, man, we're back? Like I sort of forgot this feeling for a minute.
Yeah, I think when the first home game in the playoffs, I mean, St. Louis was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, and winning on the road. And, the opening of the series in Atlanta was great as well, that game 1 win. But I think when we got home and, saw the reaction of the fans, the way the crowd filled up and the way the crowd was so loud from beginning to end, I think that was the time. And obviously, in particular, that inning against Strider when Hoskins hit the homer. For me, that was the moment that I thought something was going on, something different was happening. And, again, it was that same feeling from back in 08, 09, 10, that amazing things could happen at any time.
Well, let me ask you as far as, feelings and everything going into this season. Is it kind of the same, or do you feel a much more anticipated year right now, with them coming off, we understand coming off the World Series, but how is this team as far as when you look at it compared to last year's team?
Well, I do think it's a better team on paper. But again, at this time last year, we weren't expecting Bryce Harper to be out for a big chunk of the year, right? There was a lot of enthusiasm this time last year, but this is different. I know that they're going to, have to find a way to sort of carry the load without Harper in there for a while. All the reports have been good, but it's still going to be a couple of months, maybe 3. But it might be July 1 before we see him. Who knows? And even then, it'll still be again in that sort of restrictive space of just being the DH. But I think it's a better team. I think on paper the bullpen is far deeper. This time of year, everybody feels like they're better. and foul ball coming back. He was coming back hot too. Everybody feels like they're a little better, but I think without a doubt the Phillies are better. If they're healthy, they're a better team at this point than they were a year ago.
Scott, as you sit here right now, how surprised are you that Dombrowski and those guys were able to make some of the moves they made in the offseason to strengthen this roster, both at the plate and in the bullpen?
Well, I mean, money talks, right? I mean, they threw a lot of money at some holes in the field, and obviously Trey Turner's a big one. And but they made some trades as well. The trade to acquire Soto, and we haven't seen him yet, but the trade to acquire Soto could prove to be big down the road. Take a little bit of the load off a guy like Alvarado. Makes everybody, when you're deeper, everybody stays fresher. They don't have to be relied on quite as much. And I think that's to the Phillies' benefit. So I'm not surprised that they attempted to get better. The thing about it is this division, everybody's good. I mean, it's a really tough division, and the Mets are better, and the Braves think they're better, and the Phillies think they're better. So I'll be interested to see how this all plays out.
Scott, on that note, do you think they take a run at Turner if Harper's healthy the whole year? If they did, was this in part done because, hey, look, we gotta at least cover that gap for a half a season? I know he's here long term, I get that, but would they maybe have been as hot and heavy on him had Harper been healthy?
I would think they still would have been of a mind to go get him. I think they felt like from the outset that if he was interested in coming here and if he was interested in signing long term, that they had identified him as the player that would fit the best for a lot of different reasons, not just his particular position of shortstop, but the kind of athlete he is, the way they think he may or may not age, the way his skills are right now in the prime of his career, the way his personality fits with the guys that are already there, whether it's Harper or Schwarber. I had the good fortune of being in his group for the Phillies golf outing yesterday.
Okay.
And I mean, you can tell he's the guys he knows, he's already got a rapport with. The guys he doesn't know, he's trying to earn a rapport with them and build relationships and build friendships. And I think, the guy knows he's going to be here for a long time. And he's as much a centerpiece of this organization as some of the others like a Harper is right now.
Well, what's your sense like it? As Castellanos, what is he looking like, in BP? Is Reese, is he at a more pep in his step going into BP? You see a difference in how they're approaching the bat?
Well, I mean, I think right now it's still so early for the hitters. I mean, everybody's upbeat right now. Everybody's healthy. That's a big thing. So everybody's upbeat and kind of getting their feet under them. I think like it is with most spring trainings, the hitters tend to look a little bit behind the pitchers. I know Nick's got feels like he's got a fresh start for 23. I mean, he wants to just obviously 22 ended up great on a team standpoint, but not from a personal standpoint for him. So I know he's looking for bigger and better things. And you alluded to Reese there as well. I mean, I got a chance to talk with him the other day. He looks great. He's got a great head about him. You don't have to worry about Reese, whether there's a contract out there or not. I think you're still going to get the same Reese Hoskins day in and day out that and there's some comfort in that, whether you're a manager or a general manager, you know what you're going to get. And I think they're ready to get, the same kind of production out of Reese that they've gotten over the last 5 years.
Scott, as you sit there and soak in the sun and fun and antagonize us unmercifully,
unmercifully. Yeah, he's been relentless the whole time.
I can turn the camera around. That might even be a little.
Don't do it. But seriously, as you sit there and you're watching BP and all this stuff, you're also preparing to call games as well. So take me through your mindset of what you're looking at and what you're stowing away as you get ready for that first broadcast and other future broadcasts as well in training camp.
I think a lot of it is, it's trying to collect some stories. The bios and the stats and stuff like that, those come pretty easy. But I think it's trying to get some, face-to-face time with guys, learn about what they're working on or what they've been working on, learn about what they've gone through, whether it's injury-wise or swing adjustments or anything like that. So I think a lot of it is just trying to gather some stories. I mean, the first couple of games, it's kind of autopilot because you're just back at it. And again, it's not like you need reams of information about Rhys Hoskins, right? He's going to bat once on Saturday, maybe twice or whatever. And then I'm going to have to dig up something on somebody else. So honestly, with a lot of these spring games, some of that broadcast stuff is done on the fly, but you do try to collect stories that you're going to use throughout the course of the month of March. And, you just try to have it organized enough. For me, that's the big thing, is I just try to have it organized enough where if a situation presents itself during the game, maybe it's boring, maybe it's not, I don't know, but maybe it's relatable, that you can go to that story and you can dig it up and use it in a certain way.
My favorite, Scott, is spring training. You're in about the 5th, and there is a position.
I'm in the 5th of what?
Oh, yeah, good point. You might need it in 5th inning. And there's some guy who wasn't on the roster, and LA is perturbed because number 78 wasn't listed on the opposing team's roster, and he's coming in at shortstop, and it's no idea who this cat is. And it's just like you try to guess.
And the other one is when there's 2 number 78s. You're like, which number 78 are we looking at here? Those are always good moments. And, those teams, they bring a minor leaguer or two over for the day or whatnot, or might have a last minute they needed somebody to fill in. There's a lot of scramble mode going on 4th, 5th, 6th inning and beyond.
But LA doesn't try and hide it. He's just
That's
great. That's great.
I always tell him, I said, hey, all we got to do is act like we know what we're talking about. People are going to believe us, right?
Right. That's half a life. Just fake it till you make it, right?
Right. I mean, the only one who's really going to know that we're full of it is number 78's mom and dad, right?
Well, hey, Scott, let me ask you this, man, because I got to call a couple of spring football games, and the rosters get long, man. But looking at storylines going into, this, in fact, even the game tomorrow, is Turner and Schwarber, is that a big story or not? You think that's the biggest story going into this? Who's going to lead off? Or is it, or I'm just making it up like everybody else, I'm making it bigger than what it really is.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you're making it bigger than what it is. I will say this. I think camp is somewhat devoid of big storylines. There aren't a lot of jobs to be won. So I think maybe to some extent we're looking for something to talk about. For me, Rob Thompson has already said, or sort of hinted at the fact that he's probably going to lead off. I know Schwarber was in that spot last year. I think a lot of it has to do with, as he goes through the spring, and by this, I mean Rob Thompson, as he goes through the spring, he's going to look at the lineup from a more collective standpoint. It's not just about Turner hitting first or Schwarber hitting first. It's how all the pieces match together.
Right.
That will change. That may be very different once Harper comes back to the lineup, because you got 2 big bats that are both left-handed in Schwarber and Harper that you don't necessarily want to stack back to back. So I think as it goes through, he's thinking through a lot of those things in his mind. I think Turner, if he leads off of this team, he can score 130 runs. I mean, with new rules, if he's on base a lot, all these ground balls that wouldn't get through the right side, he's going to go first to third on those now with the shift out of the way. And I mean, I think he's got a chance to score a ton of runs. Well, really anywhere he hits, but certainly if he's hitting in the leadoff spot.
Scott, let me ask you about the rules changes in terms of the Phillies offense, the shift, the bigger bags, whatever other one you want to throw in there. Do you think it really aids them? I mean, you're going to get Harper back at some point, a lefty, you have Schwarber, guys who will pull the ball, let's face it.
Right.
And not to mention, you got some guys who can steal some bags too. How much will the new rules changes help them, aid them offensively?
Well, I think, it's funny. I was watching some video clips, little breakdowns of the rule and the shift rule in particular. And they went right to the video of the World Series, and it was all Harper and Schwarber highlights. Ground balls to the right side that they might hit 105 miles an hour, but they turn into outs. So I think that has the potential to be very, very beneficial to the Phillies. I think it'll be interesting to see as the season goes along how many teams are willing to give up a left fielder, perhaps against guys like that. Whether they're, their baseball analytics people tell them that that's the way to go. They can't shift the infield, but they can shift the outfielders.
Wow.
It could be those times when a team feels like it's worth it. But we'll give up on left field and we'll put the left fielder in shallow right. With somebody like Schwarber maybe.
That's going to be fascinating, man.
Yeah.
No protection out there in the outfield potentially. Wow.
A flare to left could turn into a triple, or with somebody with speed, it could turn into a inside the park home run.
Huh.
Do you think the rule changes in general are for the betterment of the game? Were they necessary? I mean, we grew up watching baseball a certain way. The only thing we screamed about was the length of games. In terms of the strategy of the game, nobody ever complained. I mean, did we need bigger bases? Do we really have to take away the shift?
Yeah. Well, I think from my standpoint anyway, it wasn't so much the length of game, it was the lack of activity during a game. As the game evolved into this strikeout or home run parade, it was either a walk, a strikeout, or a homer. There just weren't that many other results. And I do think that it has the chance to bring some different things back to the game that we haven't seen lately. Obviously, pitchers can get it and go, right? I mean, they can fire and they can, get into a rhythm. Hitters can't step out all the time. And, I'm thinking about a guy like Max Scherzer, who likes to work quick. And the Phillies used to wear him out. Odubel Herrera would step out, call time. Right. And they can't do that anymore. They can only do it once during an at-bat. So I do think if they can get some more activity and get some more action, showcase a little more athleticism. Middle infielders have to show off their range a little bit more. You can't have Max Muncy necessarily play second base all the time because he doesn't have the range, right? But in previous years, you could shift him and just plop him over there. Now that's not going to be as prevalent. So I do think it's going to bring some different excitement, a different level of excitement back to it.
Have you heard anything, Scott? Like how are they acclimating? Whether it's the pitchers with the clock or the hitters knowing they can't adjust their batting gloves 16 times. Like are the guys starting to get it? Are you hearing guys saying, "Man, this is tough"? Or
Yeah, it's funny. The players who have had minor league experience, they're accustomed to it.
Right.
Derek Paul was saying today, he said, he got to Wrigley Field last year and he's used to the new rules, and he gets into the box and he looks up and Marcus Stroman isn't anywhere near the pitcher's mound. He's wandering around and taking all kinds of time. So for those guys, it won't be a big adjustment. They're used to it. It'll be hit or miss. Pardon the pun. I mean, there will be guys that have struggles with it. There will be other guys. I do think that the results in the minor leagues showed that once they got into it and learned it, they got used to it and they adjusted.
And I'm sure it's from a broadcaster standpoint, it's not the worst thing in the world for you either. It could be knocking 20, 25 minutes off per game.
It's not the worst thing. And, it'll, for us, honestly, it might force us to be a little more concise or a little quicker, or a little different on the air. I don't know how it's going to look once they play it. I think the actual length of game might not be reduced quite as much as it was in the minors, because you might have more action on the bases. You might have more runs scored.
It's true.
So might be a little bit of a trade-off there. The pitchers throw it quicker, but more runs lead to longer games. So we'll see.
How big is the Taijuan Walker addition to this rotation? I mean, it's you really got some length now, it feels like, with Suarez establishing himself last year, and then the fifth spot's going to be really fun to watch what happens there with Painter and everybody else, Falter, etc. But how big are some of those additions on the back end? Because we haven't seen that kind of depth with this Phillies team in a while.
Yeah, I think it's important. And again, to think that they're going to have 5 starters for the course of the year is just ridiculous. No team's ever able to do that. And, given the workload these guys had coming, out of the playoffs last year, they're going to be real careful with guys like Wheeler and Nola and not try to push them, say, beyond the limit. So I think, Walker is a guy who's been pretty steady in terms of, 5 innings, 6 inning kind of guy, and get you into your deep bullpen. I think you're still going to see a lot of that where the Phillies ride a bullpen that's pretty deep. But I do think there's a lot of depth there. They still like Bailey Falter a lot. Obviously, Painter's been kind of wowing in his bullpen sessions. I haven't personally seen him throw yet, but I talked to LA yesterday about him. He saw him pitch earlier in the week, and his word was wow. He's really floored by the kid who's not only has great stuff, but seems like he has an idea. And I was going to see Mick Abel there, but Mick Abel just finished up his BP. I didn't really get a chance to see him while talking to you guys, but there's a chance a guy like that could help out down the road too this year. So they do, I think, feel like they have a lot more depth than they had certainly this time a year ago.
With that depth on the back end of the bullpen and the arm strength that they have, will there be a definitive closer, or will it be closer by committee? Because I don't mind with what I'm looking at on paper with the flamethrowers they have on the back end of this bullpen. I don't mind closer by committee.
I don't really either, especially the way it worked last year.
Yep.
For some, if it hadn't worked last year, but it worked. I mean, they played matchups really well, and Rob, played the matchups, when he wanted to and the way he wanted to. And I think we're going to see more of the same. And now it's just you have what you feel like are more weapons that could handle the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings you had a year ago.
Well, is there any difference, or should there be a difference? Because G was with Tom. Well, Thompson was with G for a long time. Do you see any difference in the way they went into spring than you saw with G?
Well, the way Thompson handled the bullpen, you mean, or
no, just overall, just going into this, just overall coaching, overall.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see more of exactly what we saw last year, to be honest with you. I mean, I think they're going to run things pretty much the same way. The old "don't mess with success," right? And they proved. I think Rob Thompson acquitted himself obviously very nicely as a skipper. The players love him. They love the atmosphere around him and the coaches. I mean, I refer to something, away from the ballpark, like the golf event yesterday. You can see the camaraderie that these guys have. It's a good group. It's a fun group to be around, and they're a group that likes being with one another and likes playing. So I think we'll see more of the same.
All right, Scott, last one. It's a two-part. Favorite restaurant down there in the Tampa Clearwater area. Favorite touristy spot for people who maybe have never been down, who might be, rolling down pretty soon to take in the action.
Yeah, well, I mean, just from a Clearwater standpoint, you just got to stroll the beach, and it's it's beyond just Philly. Obviously, there's a lot of Phillies people down here. But it's spring break and all that other stuff, and it's crowded. I mean, it's busy down there on the beach. So get down there and people watch for a while. I think that's certainly worth a trip. Favorite restaurant, I tend to favor a place like Bobby's Bistro. You ever been there?
No, I know.
It's a little smaller joint, but really good food. It's next to the Beachcomber, Bob Howman's Beachcomber, which is another one. I know the Phillies do a lot of events there, but the bistro is in the back, and that's if I'm going to go for a nice meal that's a little quieter, a little on the quieter side. That's where I'll go.
Good call. Scott, listen, man, is it LA with you tomorrow? Who's with you tomorrow?
LA tomorrow.
1:00 game, 94 WIP. Scott, we do appreciate it, man. We can't wait to hear the calls this year. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. We appreciate it.
Enjoy, brother. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Good catching up with you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Right, take care. The great Scott Fransky right there. And join us. And it's great, Gunner. I get this feeling, man, when it's this time of year, because I'm like you. It means spring. It's getting warmer.
Yes.
But when it's the excitement I used to get for training camp when we would see guys walking to the dorms with their video games and their flat screen TVs. The first videos I get of these guys doing their thing, it makes me think baseball season's getting close, man, and that's always exciting for sure.
See, with training camp, I used to get jacked up for the first few days of training camp. Number one, like you just said, you get to see what new gadgets the players are bringing to their dorms. And then you always got jacked up for that first day of hitting, especially in Andy Reid's camp, because you just knew there was going to be one or two fights. But see, now they don't do that much anymore. So it's like, it's so bland now. It's like, So the last training camp I went to was like, this is it?
Yeah.
You kidding me? I'm standing out here getting heat stroke for this.
Right. I mean, plus, they just don't do as much as they used to do back in the day. I mean, if you're late, if you're 15 minutes late, hell, you've missed half of practice.
Yeah, you miss it all.
Right. So you can't miss it. But you can't complain about the results. The results are they ended up in the
22 starters. We're still all 22. We're starting the Super Bowl, man. You will not hear me complain about the way they're
absolutely not. I'm the old timer that lets you walk on this grass now.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
And you know what? Like, I think all sports have implemented to this extent. Obviously, baseball and the other sports, you're not worried about the injuries, but everything's faster now. Maybe that's just to keep the guys' attention, whatever. It's like quicker stations. Even baseball, man, it used to be way longer. You drill down on things. It's not like that anymore. It's just the way of the world now.
The one thing that I really enjoyed when I covered spring trainings was you had more access to players than in any other kind of training camp.
Yeah.
Even when after the locker room was closed, the guys be hanging out in the parking lot. You could walk up to them and talk to them and stuff like that. You would see them in town somewhere, and they stand and hold a conversation. If they knew you by face, and even if they didn't know you by name, they just stand and hold conversations with you. Football player, basketball players is so regimented, point A to point B, I'm done, I'm out, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Baseball player, it's a completely different beast in terms of how you now 6 weeks of spring training, that's a little too much, 20-something games, but it's such a relaxed atmosphere in terms of the volume of stories that you can get from them, and you don't feel like you're rushed. Like with football camps, you got to get it now, and if you don't get it, you get a call, hey, did you get this interview? I heard he said this. Well, you got one crew covering 10 different players you can't get everybody.
Right.
You can miss something in a baseball locker room and training camp and recover as they're coming outside the locker room later.
I will hear you. All right, let's get a quickie in, and we are set our sights on the birds and football. JAKIB will be joining us on the other side. We'll dive into everything football when we come back. Don't go anywhere. That's Derek. That's Barrett. I'm Rob. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Right now, I'll tell you about Pro Action Restoration. Yeah, Pro Action Restoration is the place that you reach out to if your home, your business, a property you may own, goes through the pain of water, fire, smoke, mold damage, whatever the case may be. Pro Action Restoration is on call 24 hours, 7 days a week to assist. And look, I don't talk about these places unless I've experienced it myself. I had problems at my parents' house years back. It's a Saturday. I reached out to them. They got right out there, okay? And they cleaned up the mess in their basement. The crew was professional. The price was right, clean, the whole nine. They're licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company. And here's the thing. It could be water, it could be fire, it could be smoke, mold remediation, any of those. But there's a lot of other things that go on, and you're not really sure who to reach out to. Give them a call. They'll let you know. They can handle anything. 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
postgame show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Postgame, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Welcome back in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We're joined by our next guest, the man who played 11 years in the NFL, former Eagle linebacker. You can follow him on Twitter as well at JAKIB. And, of course, go to JAKIB.com for all the latest. What's happening, G? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I guess I'm in that same state that a lot of Philadelphia fans are. It's like in the middle of the night, I used to do this when I was playing, but my wife said, I'm going like, dog, what is it? That guy went outside. I should have stayed outside.
Yeah.
I came inside, whatever.
Gee, you're right. In that game, unfortunately, has left us with like 10 of those kind of plays. Whether it's like the Sayamalo goes offsides, and then Jalen fumbles, or the punt return, or the Devontae Smith catch that they overturned.
Yeah.
I'm not even scratching the surface, man. There's a lot of those kind of plays that you wake up in a cold sweat sometimes. Like, did that really happen?
The thing about it is, it's just, they had such a great season, man. I mean, the way everything came together. And I mean, and if you'd have told me, okay, who's going to throw for 300 yards? I probably said, well, Mahomes probably throw for 300. No,
Right, yeah.
Jalen throws for 300 yards. He did everything but, build the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wish he built the turf.
I mean, just such a great game he had. And, and as good as the team were, but unfortunately, they didn't get that running game going.
No.
Like they had done, so much of the season, and, of course, defensively, just they weren't able to get the stops. They weren't able to get to Mahomes, and then him taking off on like a 20-some yard run, man. That was tough.
Hey, G, I'd love to ask former players this question, man. Are you at a stage in your life where you can sit back and just watch a football game? Or are you still analyzing every play, no matter who you're watching?
Well, most of the games I can separate, and
Right.
I'm watching the game really just, as a student, really, looking at it from that standpoint. But with some games, you emotionally start getting involved, and that's when I'll tell the missus, I got to stop looking at these tapes. That's it. I'm not gonna play. I'm not playing in the game. So you can get emotionally in there, but I don't like to get in there that much, as much anymore, because then you have when you have those tough losses, I'm feeling like everybody else, and just coming back from the game, we're getting on the plane, all of the Eagles people, like every one of them that walks by me, they want to start explaining me the game. I'm going like, hey, just relax.
Oh, that's the worst right there. That's the worst. They know more than you. I'm good with that. I mean, I understand that. And then, didn't you see that too? No, not this time.
Well, their heart's in it, and even at the game, the Eagles fans, you could. I mean, there was a lot of pain, and that's the thing where, like, still now, I mean, I could be at the store, the guys, I could tell by the way the guy's looking. Oh boy,
Here we go.
You can see him approaching.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go.
He's in that pain place,
Well, let me ask you this, man. As they go forward and they're looking for these coaches, it seems like that clock is running down for me. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We got to maximize time right now. And when you win the Super Bowl, that's some of the things that dictate, what happens to you is the, lack of time you have to prepare for that next season. It's a double-edged sword. You're in the Super Bowl, but you don't get the time after the Super Bowl to get ready to compete for another Super Bowl.
Yeah, that is definitely a tough thing. And just in hearing, some of the coaches who saw some of the people were, different Eagles personnel were looking at some of the tapes of some of the rookies, the guys that are coming out in college, they're going to be in the draft, in that how, of course you want to play in the Super Bowl and everything, but it puts so much of a time restraint on you that everything's coming up right now. Now, you got, the
combine,
the combine's coming up, if you really want to be able to find out, something on these kids, you need to be able to do your homework. And so you'd like to have the coaches involved with that, but they can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I could imagine, and I'm not saying this was a problem, this was an issue, but I know the coaches, when they were at the Super Bowl, they're getting ready, trying to get ready for interviews. They got the whole career ahead, a big moves going on. You got all this going on. So it really is a tough time. I mean, you get benefited by playing in the Super Bowl, but you only got but so many hours in a day. And it just packs it all down and makes it tighter for the teams that go. And that's what I think that's probably one of the big reasons that it's tougher to go back again and again, because you really get under the, under the gun, because, sorry.
No pun intended.
What do you mean by that?
You really, things just get tighter and tighter because you just don't have as much time. And, other teams are going to get more time to look at certain players and things because, you've had all that time where you were, focusing on, the biggest game you had all season.
Gee, in the 11 years you played in the league, did you ever go through a scenario like the Eagles are going through now with the multitude of coaches that have jettisoned out of here at the same time?
I did. I played 6 years in Detroit.
Yeah.
And we had a couple times because we had Maxie Bourne. He was our defensive coach, and I learned so much from Maxie about the game and everything. But right after one of the season, boom, he bolts. He's our defensive coordinator. He's put together everything, and then he's gone. And I don't know that our team ever really, at least our defense, I don't know that the guys really recovered because he left, and nobody knew he was going, but he got a job offer, and they didn't want to give him what he wanted there, and boom, he just bolted. So when you lose a coach, it is going to be an adjustment. If you're going to be changing, you're changing your system, and which there's a chance they could do that, and that means everything changes. A lot of the things that you've gotten ingrained to where you just do it instinctively because you're used to this system. Now that changes. Now you got to relearn, and it's tough on veteran players. It's not the easiest thing with some of their reads changing, and a lot of it gets into such detail. But in order to really be a good player and to have a good system, you can't play up here. You're not really playing up here. You're playing more down in your gut, your instincts. You're not really thinking through. You got to just be able to do it. Your read has got to be like that. And
instinctual. It's got to be there.
Yeah.
Instincts.
It's really deep down inside of you. That's where you really play, because the game of football happens so fast that, you're playing instinctively. And a lot of times if you're in a system that you're used to, then you can flow. But once you have to start thinking, then you got to relearn that system. And that's when you have a change of coaches, especially when you have a good team. Normally you don't change things a lot, but
yeah,
the way it's things now, they're probably going to have to change some things. Yeah.
Gee, I'm thinking about this as you're saying it. Like this may seem weird, but is it an easier transition because you're not losing as much on offense and Sirianni's an offensive guy? Like, is it more critical to get the defensive coordinator right than the offensive coordinator in this search?
I think so, because they're going to play the same system offensively. All the guys know they're going to be doing a lot of the same things. They're not going to let somebody come in here and change everything up. No, because their head coach is an offensive coach. So he knows the way he wants to do things. And so they're not going to have as much change. But defensively, they're going to have some changes. And it depends on what system they they bring in, because if they bring in a system where some systems are kind of like cousins, you know, they're not totally different. Then some are just totally different, where you change. And let's say if they were to go where they're, let's say they play, you know, they live in the 2 deep zone, you know, then that would be a change. Yeah, that would be a change. And then depending on, you know, when you're talking about a 4-3, but, you know, really, you know, the guys are just going to be rushing the passer a lot. But there are changes that happen between the 3-4 and the 4-3, and depending on what a defensive coordinator likes to do. And so there could be some changes. Hopefully they'll try to make them as little as possible, because, as I said, you don't play the game, you know, up here. You really play it in more of an instinctive way. And so you got to be used to the system and get comfortable in it. You got to have your guys comfortable in that system. That's the way they play at their best.
You expect to see wholesale changes on that defense because of what they were able to accomplish this year. There's going to be a lot of guys making some big money, and I don't know if the Eagles can counter, considering you got to pay that quarterback.
Well, I've been sitting down. I was kind of looking at some of this, and of course, defensively is where you're going to have the most change. But the whole thing is, can Howie, can he work that magic? I mean, Howie has been good at finding loopholes, you know, because the guy doesn't care how he gets his money, as long as he gets his money. So if they were to tell you, look, we can give you this money in September. Okay, well, I'm good. I got to wait till September, then I get my money, you know. But, you know, the whole thing is, you know, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, but, you know, where you can hang on to as many of these guys as possible, because, you know, you got to make some tough decisions. You look at, you know, of course, inside at the tackle spot with Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave. You know, Hargrave, of course, had the better year. I mean, he's the dominant player. I mean, it just seems like when he gets one-on-one, you know, here's a chance he can beat his guy one-on-one. I mean, that's what I saw in just looking at him all year. And so he's a guy that, man, I don't see how you let a guy, you know, like that. I don't think you can let him go as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but that's a lot of money we're talking about. That's
I know.
A lot of money.
I know.
You know,
I know.
Both he and CJ, probably both of those guys together yearly, if you add them two up, they're probably right around $32 million to try to keep both of them. Well, you're right. 35, 40. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So, and pay Jalen.
Yeah.
I don't know if this.
I know.
Feasible.
Well, that's what they've got to do. Somewhere that they got to find a way, because, you know, a guy like CJ, man, he's so valuable because he's, you know, got the ability. You see what he can do at the safety spot. Then, you know, he's got man-to-man coverage skills. You know, those guys in the secondary, boy, they are valuable. But I don't, you know, they're not going to be able to keep everybody. I don't know I don't think they can keep Bradbury. You know, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep him around.
No, he's gone.
You know, because, you know, corners are so valuable. I mean, that's why they got their work cut out of them. That's why they pay Howie the big bucks, man.
Well, I guess, G, the good thing is you got 10 and 30 here, you know, in the draft. I mean, you should be able to. I mean, that should be 2 starters. You know, it doesn't have to be like last year where Jordan Davis plays a little bit, Juergens is ready in case Kelsey, whatever. I mean, these guys are going to have to come in and play this year.
Yeah, I would probably think that they might try to grab a corner there with that first pick. You know, because if you could get a quality corner. You know, because, you know, to be putting all that money at the cornerback position, you just can't. You know, I don't know how you can do that. So,
you already paid Slay, paid Maddox.
Yeah,
not a lot left to
yeah, I don't see how. So I could see them drafting a corner in that. If there's one, you know, I know there's some quality ones, but I know that they are they're going to go high. So hopefully they'll be there. You know, at that 10 spot. But then I know Howie, though, how he loves to trade down, you know, and I wonder if I know he would like to do that, but you know, if there's a special guy there at 10, you know, you got to get him, man.
Exactly.
You got to get him. But I know he likes to trade down, though. He he likes to figure he can trade down and get more. But you got to get a player that comes in and make an impact. You can't take that chance and you end up not getting a guy that can come in and start for you right now. You got to get that with that 10th pick.
So you're going on the defensive side of the ball as opposed to the offensive side.
Yeah, I would think that the defense is where they would go. Yeah, okay. Because they're not going to be able to re-sign all these guys defensively. Offensively, you don't have as much movement. You've got most of your guys coming back. I'm looking at these positions. Of course, you don't know what Kelsey's going to do.
Kelsey and Sayamalu and Sanders. They're your three.
Yeah. So
where do you fall in the running back thing in terms of
running back? I see where they seem to be just frustrated with Miles. I mean, because Miles has got so much talent, but boy, he just they want him to get north and south, and he's trying to take everything outside. And I see them get frustrated with him while they take him out.
Right.
So I don't know that they're going to be able. They're not going to give him but so much money. I mean, I think somebody else will probably be able to outbid them for Miles. I don't know that they're going to be willing to give Miles that killer contract because, as I said, you can see they're frustrated with him. So I think Miles gets a deal somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I think. And I think that they end up maybe they draft a running back because, if you look at, the Chiefs, they didn't get this kid the 7th round.
Pacheco, yeah.
And he makes a major contribution in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think you can get a running back, that can help you right now, especially the guy they need a running back because, see, these other guys are able to do those issues, which it takes a running back a while to learn, like, on third down with all the different things he's got to do and running routes and everything. They got people that can do that. They need a guy that can run the ball.
G, can you remember a deeper, more talented, more versatile roster than what we just watched in 2022 with this Eagles team?
And that's what really is frustrating. That they got so close, but they didn't win it because you had a phenomenal roster because you didn't have to pay Jalen yet.
Yep.
But now you got to pay Jalen, and so you're not going to be able to stack that roster like that.
Mm-hmm.
And because you not only had quality players, you got guys at the prime of their career, and so you got so close, but that's why there was an ultimatum. They needed to win then, and now, Jalen's going to take more of the, which I think he's ready to do, take more of the offense,
more of the salary cap.
Yeah.
That's right. So you're not going to be able to really, you cannot have all of the talent that they had on the team. I don't see how you can do that with the way they got to pay Jalen. Some big money.
Well, and as Kansas City just showed, they had 11 rookies on the roster, 24 new players on the roster. They didn't have a loaded team of talent. They had a future Hall of Fame quarterback. They had a dominant defensive end in Chris Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And everything else was a sprinkle of this and a sprinkle of that. But if you do it just right, it can succeed. And that's why drafting now, especially for Howie this year, he's had an outstanding draft the last couple of years, but this year in particular is so important for the immediate future of this team.
You're definitely right. Without a doubt. And Kansas City did a great job. And with all those kids that they had playing in the secondary, to have them hold up for them all year. But they are going to have a good draft, and that has always been their strong suit. But they got to have a great draft, and they've got to hit it with the guys. And it's mainly defensive players. That's what I see that they're going to be looking at. And I know that they say they got some good corners coming out. But the whole thing is, you got to get people that can rush the passer, and it would be interesting to see how many guys they're able to bring back. And like I said, if I know Howie's probably sitting somewhere now trying to look for loopholes in the salary cap.
Now you're going to see some deals converted into signing bonuses and all that. That's coming. I mean, it's got to be coming soon.
Yeah,
all right,
he does a great job.
Since I'm one of the guys who would approach you in the supermarket who's not over it yet, question for you: is the loss more on the players or the coaches in your estimation?
You know, I mean, looking at some of the things that happened defensively were frustrating. You know, and ultimately the coach has to take the hit for it, even though, you know, the players were doing like with the motion. I mean, you're going like, you know, they were getting sloppy about it, where they're assuming when a guy goes in motion, he's going to go all the way across. So then you take your eye off the guy. I mean, which is something, I mean, that's just sloppy and careless. And, you know, the coaches should have seen it and called them on it. But, you know, some of your best players were involved with it. I mean, it's something that you just cannot be doing, you know, and it's, you know, and you got to give the Chiefs credit. They saw it, but it's just, you know, something very simple to where you cannot assume the guy's going all the way across. I mean, it's a shame, you know, because, you know, that it hurts you that bad, but, you know, defensively, they didn't make any stops. I mean, when they needed to, they didn't get it done.
Yeah, none, literally. Yeah, 4 times, 4 possessions, no stops.
And then, of course, I got to also all year, every time, you know, there was special teams, whether it was a punt or whatever, you go like, okay, let's just get them off the field, you know.
Yeah,
it's just as long as we get off the field without anybody scoring, no big play or anything. But eventually, it cost them. And we knew it. I mean, everybody, I mean, all year I was like, okay, let's just get the special teams off of there. And then eventually it cost them right at the worst time, you know. And
Are you surprised they're bringing Michael Clay back as their special teams coordinator?
I am.
I was shocked. I'm going like, I mean, you know, I don't want to hurt the guy's job with it. I mean, you know, but I'm going like, are you kidding me? I mean, because like I said, all year it was hold your breath during the special teams. We just want to get them off the field. And this guy gets his job back. That was a surprise to me. You know, maybe he's got some pictures or something.
Yeah, I hear you.
He got a videotape.
Let me ask you about Hurts' contract. Look, we know it's going to be mind-blowing when it finally gets done, right? 40, 50 million, whatever it ends up being. But when you have a guy that's dialed in like him, and you've played with guys who, when they got their deal, you know, were worried about the cars and the money, you know, the girls and all that. This is not this dude. So are you not as worried about that, considering his character, than you would be for some other folks?
You know, most definitely. I think if anything, you know, you feel good about him. I mean, this kid, the improvement that he made over the year, I mean, all the work he put in, and then to go out and play like he did in the Super Bowl, some of the throws he was making. And but the biggest thing was the way that he was able to progress to where he's 1, 2, 3, and he's getting the ball out of his hands. You know, the progress he made there. And the kid is dedicated. And then, of course, after the game, you know, with the way he talks, you know, you need that steady hand, man. I think that's the biggest thing the Eagles have going for them is they have got a steady guy at the wheel. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't say enough about how he's impressed me with, because, you know, I mean, and I heard about the way he was working, you know, and then he went out and he showed all of us the work that he put in during the offseason, you know. And what that has done is it just pushes everybody. When you got a quarterback like that, it puts pressure on everybody to have their act together and to be putting in the work. And, you know, it really just drives the whole organization. You know, when you got a quarterback, you know, with those type of qualities, it's good stuff. And that's one of the reasons they were in the Super Bowl. Without a doubt, probably the number one reason was the excellence of Jalen Hurts. I mean, you know, the progress he made and the way he played. Because like I said, if I were thinking about the Super Bowl, I would have thought he played like I thought Mahomes was going to play, which is, you know, I mean, because he just had a great Super Bowl. And, you know, unfortunately, that one play, but he made, I mean, some of the throws he was making, I'm going like, Is he on something? Because I mean, come on, you see the throws that he made. You know, that's why it's such a shame that they lost, because you know he played a special Super Bowl. I mean, there's not many guys you could say played better than he did in that Super Bowl. So, you know, it's unfortunate they let it get away.
No question. No question.
Yep.
Gee, listen, man, always appreciate you hopping on with us, man. Great insights as always.
Good to see you, man.
We're looking forward to having you on again, man. Appreciate it.
You guys have a good one, man. Keep
G.
Jalen going in that same way, man.
That's right. That's right, G. All right.
I'm gonna see if I can get. I need to get a job with Jalen. That's who I need to get a job with.
G, I'll see you in aisle 3. I'm gonna have to complain about the Super Bowl to you, man. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey,
G.
you guys have a good one, man.
All right.
You too, man.
All right.
It's Gary Cobb, gcobb.com. You can check out all his all the great stuff that G does on there. It's excellent. There's good stuff on Fox 29 as well. All right, so we mentioned, guys, some of the price tags here, what this may look like. So just from sort of like dipping into different stories and whatnot, we come back, we'll look at what Hargrave might get, what CJ, GJ, some of the other, bigger name free agents that the Eagles have out there. And we'll also look at some of the free agents available at some of the positions that the Eagles may have of need. So we'll dip into that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. That's D Gunn. That's B Brooks. I am R Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network on this beautiful Friday. Let's talk about Flynn Tree Services. Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face, and they're experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Now, keep in mind, we'll be kind of fortunate with the good weather. It's a great time to have your trees evaluated before the bad stuff really hits before the end of this winter. Go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
My name is Fran Salerno. I'm a managing director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday. We are Sports Take. Let's smash that like button, friends. We do appreciate that. Gunner, Barrett, and Rob hanging out with you. All right, so if you look ahead here, guys, to what some of these Eagles free agent players may end up getting in the open market. And I know it sounds crazy because Hargrave is right around that 30-year age. He plays defensive tackle. That's not always a position that gets the massive bucks as opposed to the edge guys. However, things have changed. And especially when you have somebody who went, for double-digit sacks this year, the asking price in a lot of people's opinions for him is in the 17 to 20 million per year range. And like I've told you guys, my two priorities are Hargrave and CJ Gardner-Johnson, and we'll get to CJ in a second. I don't know if the Eagles have enough money to pay Hargrave. If somebody else, I heard the Falcons are looking to pounce on him. If somebody else is going to offer him 18, 19, 20 million, he very well could be gone. Where do you guys fall on this?
It's not very well. He is out.
I'm planning on it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just not enough. We don't have enough coinage right now with us needing to sign Jalen and really understanding that, we have to fill eight places in that defense. There's 8 guys that are leaving that were starters. So it's just not enough money. Not enough money.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm more interested in seeing how much Howie can stop the bleeding when it comes to who's leaving. I think this is going to be one of his most critiqued off seasons in the history of his tenure with the Philadelphia Eagles, and not in a negative way, because I think the knowledgeable football fan understands the magnitude of the situation. It starts with that quarterback, and we've seen how when you pay a quarterback top dollar, how it has unraveled the rest of a roster or your ability to build a decent roster. And we haven't had that before here in Philadelphia. Even when you paid Donovan McNabb, when you paid Michael Vick, when you paid Carson Wentz, we haven't had this before, this possibility before.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing is you still have an offense that can overcome defensive deficiencies. You have an offense that can still put up by accident 28 points a game and win more games than you lose.
Mm-hmm.
But can you put together a defense that can get you that necessary stop in a shootout? We saw a dominant defense couldn't do it in the biggest game of all. So what are you going to do when you have to supplant that dominant defensive personnel with backups, low-tier free agents, whatever the case may be?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be close to what we saw in 2022. Not to say it can't be good, but is it good enough? Because that defense, as potent as that offense was, that defense won a number of games last year for this team. I don't know if they can do it this year.
Derek, you're right. And you wonder if, considering the other personnel you may lose, and I know the style, it will be likely different, whoever they bring in as a defense coordinator, but do you have the personnel to win if you're not getting 70 sacks?
Exactly.
And I don't know. I mean, let's say he goes. Let's say Hargrave goes. Let's say, look, I think Brandon's probably going to be back. So Sweat comes back. BG comes back.
Derek Barnett.
Yeah, Barnett.
That wasn't too confident, bro.
That doesn't help me really, but okay.
Here's the thing, though. I'm banking on Barnett finally maturing.
Yes.
Finally. Okay.
Yes. Right.
I mean, he missed an entire season. He's coming back fresh. He has the ability to be disruptive.
Absolutely.
But it was just coupled with some of the dumb mistakes he would make. He has the ability to be an effective DN. Brandon Graham, even if he comes back, let's come to the realization he's not an every down DN anymore.
No,
he's still a DN playing 35, 40% of the snaps. But who are you coupling him with? Okay,
right.
Reddick.
You still have Reddick. Yeah, you're still gonna have Sweat.
So you have four guys on the edge that can still get some pressure.
Yeah, no question.
It's the middle of the field that's the big concern. The D tackles, the linebackers, and the secondary.
So here's what you're potentially losing just from sacks: 11 from Hargrave. Fletcher did have 7, as much as people want to just say he's cooked and all that. So there's 7 there. Right there, there's 18 that might walk out the door. And if for some reason Brandon Graham leaves, you're at 28.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Fletch gave you 6.5.
29. Sorry, he had 11.
Look,
Sorry, 29.
I hate to say this, but if you think about it seriously, several of those sacks Fletcher had is because of somebody else rerouting a player back towards
the
him.
guy up, and then he
holding him up. Yeah, so I hate to say that, but
in fairness,
let's call it what it is.
Yeah, but that's a lot of. But you're right.
It is a lot for a D tackle. I agree.
Yeah,
but it's not like Hargrave earned his sacks. He's blowing up plays over there.
Yep.
He's pushing guards and centers back in the face of quarterbacks. He's splitting gaps consistently.
Yeah.
We didn't get that from that other guy that was making $14 million.
That's where.
Am I telling the truth?
Absolutely telling the truth, man.
I don't know. I don't know what Jordan Davis is going to give you. I'm not expecting double-digit sacks. I don't mean it like that, but I don't know what kind of impact he makes, or how much that allows others around him to go wreak havoc on a quarterback or make plays in the backfield on a running back. I don't know. Do you have a real feel for him? I don't.
Nope, I don't.
For who?
I know you're a little more
expected of him.
Yeah, I think Barrett's a little more encouraged. I'm not discouraged. I just don't know. Is what I'm saying.
You talking about Fletch, right?
No, I'm saying
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis. We're not going to get sack production. He's not a sack production guy. Jordan Davis is a run stopper who can get pressure up the middle, but not necessarily sacks up the middle. He'll knock balls down. He'll be very consistent, very, very consistent. And you want his consistency. Now, if you want him to go out there and get sacks, that's a whole new different animal. You know what I'm saying? You got to temper your expectations on double-digit sack. That we just made that we just coined that and made that just too popular in our everyday vocabulary going into this season. During this season, because we had some horses up there that can run the race. He's not a horse. He's a quarter horse. He's not a sprinter. He's a quarter horse. He's gonna push up the middle and carry people up the middle. He's not gonna be that guy. So you shouldn't have those expectations of him. Milton Williams can be that guy. He can mix it up in the middle of that defense. He could be that type of player.
Marlon Tuipulotu. Yep.
Tuipulotu is also a guy that's going to not give you a lot of sack production, but he'll be consistent up the middle also. Wilson, the same thing. We're not going to get that Hargrave type of guy out of anybody there. The closest guy we have to that guy is Milton Williams.
Well, see, Barrett, if Jordan Davis got down to let's say the 320 range, shouldn't we expect more of him in terms of explosion, the ability to get to the quarterback minus 20 pounds? Should we not expect that of him, even though that's not what his claim to fame has been in college and briefly of what we saw as a young NFL player? But I would think making him lighter would make him faster, quicker.
If that's the big thing. If he got down to 3, if we had a spliff, we'd all be high. You know what I'm saying?
Some of us high anyway. I'm just saying.
I don't like.
But you're right. You're right, D-Gun. In all actuality, he's shown the capacity to be a monster in the middle, very athletic. The man ran a 4.6 40.
Yes.
At 340 pounds.
Yes.
Put that into perspective. That's 340 pounds worth of man, and he ran a 4.6.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Miles Sanders ran a 4.6.
No, it's insane. It is.
Yes.
It's insane. Yeah, I agree with you. All right, let's jump over to CJGJ. So we're looking at in the range of 15 to 18 there. For safety.
I said that 2 days ago that he's going to be upwards of $75 to $80 million for a 5-year deal. Everybody was all, we got to sign CJGJ. And I'm like, nah. We're not going to be able to sign CJGJ. He's not going to give us that family discount. That's why he left. That's why they traded. That's why New Orleans traded him, because they weren't going to give him that money. Mm-hmm. And he knew what he deserved. Man, that kid is special, man. He is special. He's
not a big dude and he can hit.
No, he's a special type of play. He's a special guy that could play anything and everything. And him showing that he could play safety just brought his worth up. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell you the truth. It's gonna be somebody like the Cardinals or the Colts that's gonna sign him.
So his former coaches who know what he can do, who watched him up close and personal.
Right. They know what he is. They know the type of player he is.
See, a lot of people are going to be screaming about these players. You know, they're traitors. They're disloyal. Why wouldn't they want to come back? You have to understand. This is a business.
You gotta be like D Gun. D Gun's a hired assassin.
That's what. Thank you. I'm a mercenary. Yes. How much? You know, when I get a phone call, seriously, you want to talk? All right. What are you paying? Okay, I understand. This is what you're asking me if I'm interested in doing. How much you paying? Hey, look, I appreciate you considering me, but I'm not interested at this time.
Right.
I guess
unless them dollars go up.
It's gotta be the way it is.
Bread does the talking, man. That's for sure.
It's gotta be the way it is.
All right. So if those two walk, who's likely to be back? I mean, I would say they're the two most critical. We're all in agreement. Sanders is probably gone.
Bro, I told you the two safeties right now are Kayvon Wallace and Breed Blankenship.
Stop.
That's not going to cut it, man.
Well,
you could sign back Marcus Epps. In fact, he'll be player friendly, but is he worth what you're going to pay for him? That's what we need to realize. You know.
And I don't think he's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Let's face it.
No.
If someone goes nuts on Marcus Epps in the open market, you let him go. I mean, you know.
But maybe we bring back somebody, you know, that in Jordan Poyer, he's a free agent. How much do you think he'll command? I think he'll command less than CJGJ.
Yeah, because he's getting up there.
But he's been a Pro Bowler, will he?
I think so.
Let me see how old he is.
Because if that's the case, I'd rather, and I love Jordan Poyer's game, but I'd rather keep the guy we already have in house than to go and get another one.
Well, they're going to have the same price tag.
He'll be 32 for what it's worth.
Jordan Poyer is already 32. And what's CJ, 28, 27?
No, he's younger. I think he's
25.
25,
26, yeah.
Man, that's a lot to give up. Do you put your trust in it? As good as Poyer is, do you want a 32-year-old guy back there? Do you want that 25-year-old guy back there?
Yeah. Listen, I hear you. I think that's when you start looking at prices, though. Right? I mean, that's
yes.
Well, that's all we should be looking at, anyways.
Yeah, he was a 7th round pick of the Eagles in 2013.
Yep, I remember him well.
Rounder.
I remember him well, and he was here, but only a minute. They gave up on him real quick.
Yeah, they did. They signed him to a $2.2 million deal that had a $60,000 signing bonus. He was here in camp, and then he made his debut against Washington, I think, or whatever. And then he was gone the next year, right? He was out.
Yeah. And I'm looking at
that year. They released him that year. Chip released him.
Yes, they did. And we're continuously talking about who we want the Eagles to bring back, and rightfully so. But here's the thing that has surprised me, because I'm looking at right now as we talk, Tom Pelissero, Adam Schefter, they're talking about other teams already, players they've restructured contracts, players they've given extensions to. Howie hasn't done anything. Usually Howie is.
He can't.
Howie is good about you. You know what, Barrett? I'm glad you said that, because I think this is the first year that I can remember in Howie's tenure when he hasn't extended anybody beyond the season.
You know why? Because he got to pay a quarterback.
Well, yeah, but number one, they already knew who's not coming back. I think they knew before the season started Miles Sanders was not in their future.
Yes.
No matter what he did. I think they knew when they hired the one-year assassins like Kazir White and Bradbury that they were not going to be able to afford them.
Yep.
You know, we can say a lot of things about Howie, but I will go to my grave saying this. The one thing I've always admired about him is looking into the future well before a season starts and already planning. You know, Howie's told me that a number of times. He starts planning for next year in the spring and the summer of the previous year.
Yeah, there's no surprises here. This is he knew exactly what this was going to look like, and they went all in last year. They know
exactly.
it. I bet you behind closed doors, I'm never going to tell you like the Eagles are looking at like they're punting on a season, and I'm not saying that at all. Believe me, but they also know the reality is this is going to be a lot harder than it was last year.
Absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
You know, they know that, but I guess they view it as
you got to take a shot.
MVP. No, I'm saying this year MVP candidate quarterback coming back, 2 stud receivers, stud tight end, most of the offensive line coming back.
Let's run it back.
Let's run it back, and we'll figure out defense. It's not going to be 4 guys in double-digit sacks. It's not going to be CJ with 6 interceptions at safety. It's just not going to look like that, and that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, and we can also say, you know, I think if we looked at one player out of all these players, outside of say Amala, who could possibly be back, we could say a Boston Scott. You know, the Eagles could get Boston Scott on a cheap.
Yeah.
But if the Eagles are offering Boston Scott, let's say a 2-year, $5 million contract, and somebody offers him a $2 million, $7 contract, where's he going? Because he knows within himself he's never going to get that big money. But right now, I've got $2 million more sitting in front of me than I have 2 years down the road. Yeah. Where's he going from a business perspective?
Right.
But you got to take it.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you'd be a fool not to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm looking at the stream, and I'm looking at Bird. Bird says Poyer is a better player than CJGJ. At this point, you're absolutely right. No, Poyer is a better player than CJGJ right now. But he won't be better than him probably till the end of the year. Like towards mid to late, he learns the safety position even more.
Right.
CJ's gonna be one hell of a player, and he will be worth his weight in gold. Especially midway to after this year, I can see CJGJ be one of the most efficient players in the league. But right now, Poyer is better. Yes, Poyer's in his prime right now. CJGJ is about to enter into his prime.
Yeah, he
was hurt all year this year.
Yeah, he had the bad neck, which worries me a little bit, right?
Well,
that's another thing, yeah.
Kudos to Sean McDermott for seeing something in Poyer that other people missed and bringing it out in him.
Yep.
And it also helped him when you coupled him with Micah Hyde back there. Because I said in 2021 and again in 2022 going into the season, I thought they were the best safety tandem in all of pro football.
And I would have thought that with Micah Hyde because when he was with Green Bay,
yes,
he was okay.
He was okay.
He was
That's
okay.
Right. He went to Buffalo.
Yeah, he became a player.
Man, it's one of the worst moves Green Bay ever did. Let that dude get away. But that's every team does that. You let a player get away, go somewhere else and shine.
Look at the players that Chip Kelly let go.
Yeah,
Poyer,
Shady,
Mostert,
Shady,
D-Jax.
For nothing, just cut.
Yeah.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I'll get into some free agent running backs in a second. Let me just throw this stat. I meant to hit you guys with this yesterday. So Lane Johnson did not allow a quarterback hit this entire year. 614 pass blocking attempts. 0 times his man touched the quarterback. That's unbelievable, man.
Well, that's
for a guy who was totally healthy.
Exactly. That's why I made the switch from saying I started out the season saying he's 1A, and that Trent Williams was 1. But halfway through the season, I said, you know what? Lane Johnson is the best tackle in the league, period. I went so far as to say he's the best offensive lineman in the league, period.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not arguing that.
He is the best offensive lineman. He was playing with one nut and still balling out of control.
Still balling?
Balling. Crazy how good he is, man. It's ridiculous. It's not a cuss word, guys.
It wasn't a curse.
No, it's not. But I thought you might have said, he was playing with one testicle, or either he playing with one ball.
Oh my God,
dude! I mean, I played the position before, and I had
you had both.
I had two. Look, I
Yeah.
had two. It could carry two more in my back pocket and still not be that good. You know what I'm saying? That's how good this. Lane Johnson is a freak of nature.
Oh my God! Oh,
a freak of nature.
John Dickerson. Just think how good he'd be if he had two nuts.
Oh my God,
man, Barry, you opened some can of worms up, man, bro.
Oh, did you see? Did you see this thing with Jalen Hurts? He trademarked the "I had a purpose" before opinions.
Oh yeah,
did he?
Before people had opinions. I had a purpose where people had opinions. He trademarked.
Good for him.
Wouldn't he? That's
a great marketing move right there.
All right, Miguel Barrett, what do you think of this idea? Trade back to 19 from 10. Draft a wide receiver. Okay, wide receiver, corner, D lineman.
Three, yep.
Any of the three. Trade up 30 to 26 and get Bijan. Go ahead, Barrett. I'll let you jump.
Bro, I mean, I could see us getting a cornerback and pick at pick 19, a really good corner, maybe Gonzalez or somebody at 19. You'll get another pick out of it, probably the second rounder, because we don't have enough. After the third round, they don't have anything till the seventh round, right?
To the seventh round.
You're right, they don't.
Yeah.
So we need something, more than what we got. So we need at least one more pick. I can see how we doing that. I mean, and that's what we really talking about. And would I trade for Bijan? Go trade to 26? Would I trade for it? I don't necessarily think I would trade for it. But if he was sitting at 30, there's no way you could just let him stay there. You can't let him stay there. At number 30, you'd have to pick him up. And there's a possibility that he might be there. He just might be there. Just from first round backs and what people have been talking about, he could be there. Now, another back that we haven't nobody's really talking about is the back that's in Alabama right now.
Yeah.
He's a trooper, man. I forget his name, though. What is that back's name?
Yeah, it's Gibbs.
Gibbs? Yeah, I think it is Gibbs.
Yeah, it's Gibbs. He can catch the ball, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, he can get him in a third.
Yeah,
maybe
there's
late
a lot.
Second, early third.
There's a lot you can do with that guy, man.
Right. But, look at free agency. There's a lot of backs of free agency. This free agency list, even though we don't have any money.
Yeah, I'll throw some at
That's
you.
some pretty good free agents that we could pick up in running back
I'm
position.
telling you, you're going to pick off a low tier a free agent. I'm telling you, they're going to draft one, but they're going to pick up a low tier free agent somewhere.
That'd be smart. That would be smart.
It wouldn't surprise me, man, if that's because they've been pretty good at that, in the past. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's the direction that they end up going. All right, let me give you some of the free agent names here for some of the running backs that could be available. Now, keep in mind, it's Jahmyr Gibbs. I was blanking on his first name, the Alabama kid, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yep.
Here's some names, and again, these guys will be a little bit cheaper than what Miles would be. Okay, but they're projecting Miles, by the way, at 7.2. Okay, so that's what they think he's going to make on the AAV, as they call it, average annual, salary, whatever. All right, so the running backs, Tony Pollard, I don't know. That's a weird one because he is going to get a good amount of money. He got hurt in the playoff game, and can Dallas really afford to let that guy walk?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Especially if they're going to let Zeke walk. I don't think so.
Okay.
To be honest.
All right. David Montgomery. I like David Montgomery. Chicago.
Hard runner, quick burst, tough between the tackles.
Yep.
He's going to be cheaper than Miles. Just a thought.
Yes.
Kareem Hunt.
Might push the envelope in terms of what can you afford him or not.
Yeah.
Because he's still got the juice left in the tank.
His numbers weren't great. He wanted to be traded. They didn't trade him. He was behind Chubb. We know that, who's a monster. He's there's the baggage there. We know, but anyway, just that. There's a name. Devin Singletary, Buffalo.
I love that kid.
Pretty good player.
Explosive, crafty, tough to bring down, can catch the ball. I love everything about his game, but there's another guy. He's still relatively young. If he hits the open market, somebody's going to pay him. Can the Eagles match it?
Yeah. All right, let me throw this one. I don't really love this guy, but he's okay. Solid. Damian Harris from the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's not moving the needle much for me. He's okay.
No, you already have a back like that in Kenneth Gainwell, a younger version of that.
Yeah. You don't
younger and cheaper.
Right. Yeah. You need to change your pace.
Yeah.
All right. This one's interesting. He's getting up there a little bit in terms of like running back age, but Jamal Williams from Detroit. So he went over 1,000 yards last year. He had 17 touchdowns.
Yep.
He had over 1,000 yards?
Yeah. Yes. Yep. And he got 1,000 yards the last game of the season.
17 touchdowns is crazy good.
17 rushing touchdowns.
He scored. Yeah, he's basically scoring every game.
And he started out the year just a guy that came in when they got in the red zone.
Yeah, like he was. I love DeAndre Swift, but DeAndre Swift has a hard time staying healthy. So he got a good amount of reps that did Jamal Williams, and they're projecting him at $4.1 million.
That's cap friendly.
Not bad.
Definitely. I mean, he went from an afterthought to a frontline player. I mean, that's why Green Bay gave up on him. They didn't like his style of running. They went out and got A.J. Dillon to complement Aaron Jones. They let him walk. His first year in Detroit, he was just okay. Yeah. But this past year, it's amazing how players explode when money's on the line. You see this all the time, man. When players in their contract year, all of a sudden they put up these phenomenal numbers, and then they go back to being mediocre.
Y'all remember Fletcher and in his contract year?
Ooh. He was everywhere, man.
You couldn't stop him.
Couldn't stop that dude, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder what Fletcher's going to command on the open market. That's one I wonder. I wonder.
What is he age-wise?
Right around. He's 33, 32.
2 or 3, and he got 14 last year. You see how old he is.
I see it right around about. He's going to get at least 10.
I would say 8.
8 to 10.
Yeah, about 8. Yeah,
about 8. You think?
Yeah.
That's still pretty good, man.
3-year contract. I think you're gonna get right around a 3-year contract worth about probably $30 million.
Man, he's gone.
Yep.
I say $30 million with incentives.
Yeah. He'll be 33 in December, so he'll play this year. Most of the year at 32. Not crazy old, but he's been around since 2012, so there's mileage on the tire for sure.
Yep.
But he's probably going to I'm telling you, this offseason is going to hurt Eagles fans. I know people are kind of have Fletcher Cox fatigue a little bit. I'm just saying there's some good players leaving. And I think we all are sort of saying it now, but when the reality hits, it's going to kind of be like, whoa, it was tough. It was tough. All right, let's step aside, come back, and we'll do our NFL segment. We'll go around the league with different things. Jeff Bezos, Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson, the Honey Badger, they're all included in some of the stuff that we're going to discuss.
Bro, how do you add Bezos in with those players?
We will find out. But we'll do all that when we come back. So don't go anywhere. That's Derek. That's Barrett. I'm Rob. We're Sports Take. Tell a friend. JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right. So let's talk about Razor technology and disaster recovery. The middle of an emergency is the wrong time to wonder who was in charge and how to respond. Restoring malfunctioning systems, rebooting complex servers, reconfiguring applications, bringing backups online, and reauthorizing users all takes time. And the longer it takes, the more damage that a business is exposed to. Razor Technology helps growing businesses develop a disaster recovery plan that protects all their essential data. Razor ensures that all your critical systems are backed up and that backups are regularly checked to ensure that they can be deployed at a moment's notice. Depend on Razor Technology, your trusted IT managed service provider, to save time and money on your IT and cloud services. Find out if your business is built to recover from a data disaster by calling Razor Technology today at 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
When it comes to the fight against insurance companies, large corporations, and the healthcare industry, injured victims are always the underdog. But that doesn't worry us. At Messa & Associates, we're an injury law firm from Philadelphia, and we come to fight. Our clients know that they've got representation with a chip on its shoulder, and it's the same chip that makes Philly the toughest city in the country. Call 215-568-3500 or visit us online at messalaw.com. Messa & Associates, the toughest injury firm in Philadelphia.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Jeff D'Ambrosio doesn't need a special event to appreciate his customers. Jeff shows his appreciation to them every day of the year. Jeff makes sure to stock more new inventory than anyone and guarantees prices and payments that nobody can beat. There are so many reasons that thousands of customers know Jeff is the easy, friendly place to do business. More for their trades. No judgment zone for credit issues. The best, most reliable service department in the country. That's why I like Jeff, and I know you will too. Jeff will satisfy you every day. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Owner Appreciation Event.
Post-game show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Post-game, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Why do millions of people every year from around the world visit Philly's Rocky statue?
You want to tell me the sky is burgundy with green stripes and yellow polka dots? I'll meet you on that. But you're never going to convince me Rocky is anything other than the pure greatness that it is. Never going to happen.
Join me, Paul Farber, for WHYY's The Statue. We're going on a journey to explore the biography of the Rocky statue. Find us wherever you get your podcasts.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back in. Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Rob Ellis and Barrett Brooks. We are waiting on the Gunner to get back. I guess the dogs were out of control again. Barrett for Gunner. He's tracking them down right now as we speak, trying to bribe them with treats.
they run away. He run around.
Puppy, here, want a treat, puppy.
They run around the block right now.
What's the problem now? What happened now? Besides the fact that you're muted, besides that, what's the issue?
I had to run downstairs and grab me a couple Nutter Butters.
You didn't even try to make an excuse this time.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna lie. That last segment, I'm listening
respect
to
the
you.
honesty. Yeah.
Hey, look, that last segment, I'm listening to you guys talk, but I couldn't hear because all I could hear was my stomach going.
Look. You put in the effort. So,
see, I was just about. You know what? And I heard that commercial spot again, right? And I'm thinking,
change that up, by the way.
Every time I hear that spot, Barrett makes me feel embarrassed to be a part of that moment. I'm like, geez, we gotta get rid of that spot. You know what, Barrett? When I see you on the boat, I'm gonna smack you dead square in the back of your head for put that in.
Knew we had a running game.
Oh my God! Poor Derek.
No, you know what?
Super Bowl.
Stop it! Stop. Oh my God!
Look, Rob, it doesn't bother me because I did not assemble the promo.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
But because he keeps mentioning it every week for the past month. Number one, it tells me there's a bit of petty jealousy involved. Number two, every time he mentions it, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to see this again. Please, please, can we get past this, please?
Man. It's just funny, man. You know, I mean, it really sticks at me when I think, well, what if we hadn't won the Super Bowl? When we get to that point, then it's over because then I got to say something.
Hey, Tone, did you assemble that spot, by the way? You know, Tone DeShields is producing for us today.
I don't think that one was Tone, but Tone, you tell us.
I don't know. I know Tone did the one on the Black History Month, which was really sharp.
I love that background.
That one was strong. That one was strong.
He did a great job with that one. Yeah. He said, Tone, I got to talk to Xander about that promo.
See, I don't know what that means. It's not really an answer to the question. I don't know.
Hey, Tone, if you have any pull with the Krause family, demand that they take that spot off the air now.
Here we go. Wait, hold up.
What happened?
What happened? What happened?
My fault.
What you do, man?
Well,
you stop playing, bro. We got
lost you for a second there, man.
We still have like what 52 minutes. Quit playing.
Okay,
man.
so that one, my sources tell me Tone was not involved in that. That's what my sources are. I don't,
Okay.
Tone was not involved in that one.
That is just so funny to me. I just get it because once I'm cool with what you two are saying.
No, you're not.
I am.
Who's you two? What do you mean?
You and Steph.
Okay. No, you're not because you keep repeating it. No, you're not. Why are you sitting here lying like that, man?
I am good, certainly.
Okay, but keep going. But
let's
look at Rob.
So
it's open season now. Oh no,
when you get to the what if we hadn't won the Super Bowl? I mean, you can't think like that. What the hell are we thinking? We won the Super Bowl. You're not thinking about we didn't. What's the come of that?
All right.
Hey, maybe that was the most profound thing said at that moment.
There you go. All right,
you know how we are.
Dude, look at Rob's face.
You know how we are. Billy, you know how we are. You know how we are. You know how we are. Oh my goodness, I can't do it, man. That just makes it, and yes, it is. It has a lot to do with jealousy because I know the spread you guys ate was ridiculous.
The word ridiculous is an understatement.
While me and Rob sit back and
starving crumbs.
Right.
I remember them taking care of you guys when we had to do the show in July there when they opened up the Galleria.
That's true.
We ate well then.
We did.
It wasn't of that stature, but we ate well.
I will say this: the folks at Ocean Casino Resort
hook it
always
to none.
Take it to the next level, man. I'm serious. They really do.
Dude, if you could see the food they had for us throughout the season, the sandwiches, the fruit bowls, the beverages, coffee, sodas, waters, and then they stepped up their game for the Super Bowl for us, plus giving us free suite, not just discounted suite. Now, they could have just given us a room. They gave each one of us access to a suite.
That's awesome.
And I heard the suites go for well over $300-400 a night.
It is an incredible. You see the whole island, man. You see You see all the way to like Sea Isle, man. I'm telling you,
dude,
it is.
You're right. You're right.
And
you were right. Every room we had, it was L-shaped windows like this. You walk in your room, L-shaped windows. You see everything, dude.
Yep.
I always had a view of that big Ferris wheel that sits there.
Yep.
And you walk out the back door, you're right there on the beach.
Spectacular,
you're right there. Dude. I'm telling you, Ocean. Whoever the contingent of people are who bought that place out when it was Revel and what they've done to Ocean to upgrade it over the past few years has done an incredible job at that place, man. And the restaurants in that joint, they got a steakhouse called American Steakhouse. My wife and I eat there. Oh, man, that food. I got to try the seafood. They got one right across the hall is a seafood place. I got to try that one next because I love seafood.
Yeah.
I love Mexican food, steaks.
And it's great. There's like food courts if you need to just get in and out. Like it's whatever you want. And anything.
Go play Top Golf.
Oh, yes. They got Top Golf right in. Yes.
Yep.
And they always tell me, D-Gun, whenever you and your family want to come, just let us know.
I did. I went down. My wife and
Didn't you, Rob?
Oh yeah, we played Top Golf. We went out to eat. We had a sick room. I mean, just incredible room. It was great.
Rob, that's the only time you've ever taken off
one day, man.
In the 8 years I've known you personally.
I ain't gonna tell that lie. Now he don't take off many, but
I missed one show. We've done 217. I missed one.
Wait a minute. Have we really done 217 shows?
We're on our 217th show today.
How would you know this?
Because I'm out of my mind. Because I'm sick.
All I'm going to say is this.
Yeah.
You need to get out more. I thought
I
I
agree
was the
with
same thing. I don't want to get Wally Pip, but hey, I got to take some days.
I'm with you, man. I'm with
For
you.
what? Your wife don't want to be with you. She want to go on separate vacation.
I'm not going to be with my wife. I'm going fishing.
What? Where you going?
To the Keys.
Nice.
Dang.
Me and Captain Tony.
Oh, are you guys gonna drive your boat down from Jersey?
No. He has a
oh, that's awesome.
He has a friend that's down there. So that's why I say I'll be off on the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Do your thing.
8th, 9th, and 10th.
That's all right. You always leaving us anyway. I don't care.
I want you guys to come.
Would
you guys come seriously?
You
can if you want to.
No.
I'm literally double dipping both of those days.
My wedding anniversary. My wedding anniversary is March 6th, and I don't even know what we're gonna do because my wife has all these conferences she has to go to that week. We're not even gonna celebrate our anniversary till later. I mean, I'm backed up, dude. Between babysitting grandkids, this show. I don't have time to be honest.
Barry, you've been to the Keys before, right?
I went, but I didn't go on a fishing trip. I had came back from off a cruise.
Okay, because there's a lot of good spots. A lot of good spots.
This will be my first time really digging in and being
good restaurants and good bar scene, man.
Well, Cab Tony, he used to he has a house down there.
Okay,
not in the Keys, but just before you get to the Keys, he has
Tony got money like that. What?
Bro, Tony used to be a big wig in the insurance game, bro.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So Tony and he's a miser. If he's not spending on the boat, he doesn't spend money. If it's not on his boat, he's not spending.
There's only one body of water I want to fish in Florida, first and foremost. Well, there's two. Number one is Lake Okeechobee, Premier Bass Lake, and number two is 10 pound is small, in that lake. Lake Okeechobee, and then in Kissimmee, that lake in Kissimmee.
You want freshwater all the time, man.
I want to go bass fishing, man. I want to go. Now I'll go ocean fishing. I don't trust you getting me out 20-something miles from shore.
Bro, you will be fine. You will be fine. But look, the first day we go out, we're going out and try to catch some swordfish. Then the next day we're going to get us some we're going to do some deep fishing, try to get some some whatever's down grouper.
You gotta go tarpon. You gotta go tarpon fishing.
I don't want to go tarpon fishing.
You don't?
No, I don't want.
What? Man, they said it's that fish is one of the best fighting fish ever.
Yeah, but you can't eat it.
That's all right. Let them go. Replenish the population.
Right, but I want to get some mutton snapper.
What about mahi?
Snapper and all that. Mahi. Yep, get that out there.
Yeah.
Doesn't he play for the Browns? I think he does. Remember he had the
no, that was game? Reno Mahi.
No. There's a Mahi. He's a linebacker.
I never heard.
Yeah, it was Mahi.
Remember in 2021 he had an interception or fumble recovery.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Wait, did he play for?
Or no, it was 2020.
Wait,
I think it was Seattle or 49ers or something. Like that.
You know what? You're right. We had an interception against the Eagles.
Yeah, it was Wentz.
You're right.
It was in like sloppy conditions. Yeah.
Taki.
Taki.
Taki. That's it.
Taki.
That's it.
Sione Taki. Yes.
See, look.
He had 71 tackles this past.
JB.
Taki. Thank you, fellas.
He lives in Miami. He'll drive down and go fishing with us. Let's rock.
See, there you go.
Rock.
You have some of the folks with you. Good job, Griffin, with the Taki. Thank you. Yeah, but that's what you could have. You could have some of the crew go down there. I'm sure we got folks down there.
Yeah, we got them, man. So hey, let's go.
Go to Hemingway, Sloppy Joe's. There's a bunch of places you want to go to too. I'll
down in Miami, Jones Stone Crab place. Oh my goodness. Ooh. Dude, you have to wait hours upon hours to get in unless you know somebody.
Yes.
You have to wait out. That place is off the chain, man. I love that place. And right across the walkway, it's like a little court there. It's an Italian place, little hole in the wall Italian place. Food was excellent. I can't think of the name of the place. But
I'll give you good sports bars in Lauderdale or Pompano. Kim Beaucamper, he played for the Dolphins years ago. He's got a good little place called Beaucampers. So there you go. All right, here's our Florida breakdown for you.
Yeah. Oh man!
All right, well, I know who could afford a reservation at Joe Stone Crabs. You know who? Jeff Bezos. He is worth 119 billion, guys. 119 billion.
God.
Okay.
Oh,
He probably
the
made 100 of that during COVID,
right,
with Amazon.
Correct. It probably made about 100 of it at my house with the amount of packages that are
Right.
So he's the third richest person in the world. He is now exploring a bid for the Commanders. So yeah, he hired the same firm that conducted the sale when the Walmart people landed the Broncos and when the current owner of the Panthers took over the Carolina Panthers. So you hire this firm when you mean business. So there have been two that we know of, at least two people that have at least gone through the process and walked through the facilities and all that. It's Bezos and it's Josh Harris, who owns the Sixers and owns the Devils, owns a piece of the Steelers. I didn't know that till today. You know, Josh Harris owns a piece of the Steelers.
I didn't know that.
He does. He owns a piece of the Steelers too.
Wait a minute. He owns a piece of the Rangers, the Steelers. Are you allowed to own? Oh, wait.
Sixers, Devils,
Sixers,
and
Devils.
a piece of the Steelers.
Then he would have to give up a piece of ownership of the Steelers if he bought
Correct.
into Washington.
Yeah. We guess he would liquidate that and then go all in. Yeah, but he also owns a soccer club in Europe and whatever. But so Bezos may be taking this thing over. We know it's felt like Dan Snyder and his wife have been on the way out for a while here, but maybe this has sped this thing up. Maybe if Bezos is serious, he's got the bread to do it. That's for sure. And we'll see. Bezos also owns the Washington Post. Did you guys know that? A lot of little fun facts today. You're welcome. Yes. I didn't know that either. But so we'll see what ends up happening there. Bobby Wagner and the Rams have parted ways. I got to be honest. I didn't realize he had this good a season. 32 years old. He had 140 tackles, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 5 passes defense, and played all 17 games. It's going to save them $5 million on the cap. They're a mess, the Rams. I'm telling you.
He had a season like that, but he just didn't have everybody trying to play like he played. Like, even I kind of questioned Jalen a little bit, how he played, man. And they didn't have what's his name in the middle balling the way he balled. In fact,
Aaron Donaldson or Aaron Donald.
He didn't play up to what we're used to him playing. So that's tough, man.
The Washington situation, all they need is an infusion of new money, new direction. That's all they need to breathe a sigh of relief. It would be like when the Eagles got rid of Chip Kelly. That place breathed a whole lot easier once he was removed from the situation there. That's what Washington needs. Washington would be, especially with the talent they have right now, and Eric Bieniemy calling the offense in particular, Washington would be a destination a lot of players would want to go to if they had a new ownership. And they're talking about a new practice facility, now obviously any player signs today may not be there to see that new stadium, but there's a lot of players that would want to play for Eric Bieniemy.
Oh yeah.
Because he's been on such a national stage for the last 5 years, everybody knows who Eric Bieniemy is now. And now that he's able to spread his wings and do his thing, but I don't know if they would go there under Daniel Snyder's dark cloud, to be honest.
It's always had. I mean, it's a storied franchise, and everybody loved them. Everybody loved the Hogs and all those guys. So,
all right, let me give you this. So we talked about Lamar Jackson. There's some of the stuff that's been leaked about his contract yesterday, right? So Stephen A. Smith was on ESPN's First Take, and he said that Jackson's camp claims that Jackson never demanded a fully guaranteed contract with the Ravens. Remember, we said that he was looking for that with Deshaun Watson got it. So that's interesting. Again,
why not?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You know what I mean? What's the point?
Right.
Somebody lying somewhere.
Somebody is lying. Somebody's leaking certain stuff to certain people. Again, who knows? But the Ravens' best offer in 2022 included $133 million guaranteed, according to reports. Believe whatever you want. I don't know, what's what at this point. It just feels like these guys can't get on the same page, and they've been trying to do it for a really long time. So frankly, I worry that the guy doesn't have a real agent and how how this affects things. But it's his money and it's his future, so he has every right to do it the way he wants to do it. But
well, good luck to him.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. All right, so this is fascinating too. The Athletic reporting that Russell Wilson demanded before he was traded to the Broncos when he was still a Seahawk, that the only way for it was basically a them or me. And he said, fire Pete Carroll and fire John Schneider, the GM, or I want out.
Oh,
see, I thought him and Pete Carroll were like, Green Hornet and Cato, Captain and Tennille, Ike and Tina. Well, before Ike and Tina went off the rails, deep in.
Let's be careful with Ike and Tina. That one.
Let me take that one back. Let me take that back. Yeah.
So
I thought they were like Batman and Robin, man.
And take this for what it's worth. That's the Athletic report, and they're standing behind it. However, Russell Wilson tweeted out around like 10 o'clock this morning, I love Pete, and he was a father figure to me, and John believed in me and drafted me as well. I never wanted them fired. All any of us wanted was to win. I'll always have respect and for them and love Seattle. Just putting it out there. Here's what I know. A lot of his team, there were very few bouquets thrown his way when he left there from teammates.
Right.
I think it had run its course. Whatever it was there with Russell, it ran its course. Now, the problem, too, is you saw some of that stuff leak over into Denver, where he had his own quarterback coach. He had his own office, by the way, not just a locker room, had his own office. And basically, Sean Payton's having none of it. Like, that's all gone now. So Nathaniel Hackett kind of bent over backwards. Yeah, bent over backwards for him, and it didn't work out real well that way.
Wow. Well, you know what? I think Russell's pride took a big hit in 2022, and I think he knows as well as anybody who knows Sean Payton. I mean, anytime a new coach comes in, players start asking around, "Hey, man, what's he like to play for? What's this dude like?" And I think Russell had to come to grips with, number one, his offense was successful in New Orleans, and number two, he's a no-nonsense guy. And because I had the kind of season I had, because of the money they paid me and the volume of picks they gave up, I can't buck the system. So it's I got battles I'm going to fight. This is not one of them. I got to let this go, because we got to turn this thing around while we have this talent in-house now, So probably Russell's making a smart move, just saying, you know what, whatever you want, coach, whatever you need, coach. I got it.
Because, I mean, look, I think he realizes he has to have that self-awareness that, you can't try that again this past year. You can, and it didn't work. And Peyton's got the gravitas, unlike a rookie coach, to say it ain't happening.
Yeah. See, those players will walk all over Nathaniel Hackett, man.
No doubt.
That's what happened. I mean, how have you got your own office?
Yeah.
He had his guy get an office. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's
I mean,
crazy.
Barrett, how would that fly with you in a locker room? Like any of your guys?
It wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, even every locker room I went in, I've had some prima donnas, and nobody was like, I heard stuff like, guys having their masseuses flown with them and stuff like that. And I had, even when I was with the Steelers, I mean, I'm sure the bus could have had something like that. Only thing that he really did on that team was on Saturdays before we fly out, they let his barber come in and cut everybody's hair. He wasn't flying with them or nothing like that.
Right.
But he cut guys' hair before and after practice.
Big deal. Yeah. Right, and that's everybody. It's not just
not just him. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. There was no special privileges. Like I heard TL used to have his masseuse and his, this dude flying with him everywhere he went, had a room. He got a seat on the flight and everything. That stuff ain't happening, bro.
Yeah, I hear you.
That stuff is not happening.
The Saints are restructuring the Honey Badgers deal. Tyrann Mathieu, you would figure that's in anticipation. Well, I mean, it could be just general salary cap freedom, but you figure that may be, time to make a move on a quarterback here. Free up every little bit of coin you could free up.
Yep.
Jimmy Garoppolo, line 3, please.
You think they go Jimmy G? You think, or do you think it's Carr? Or like,
if I'm Derek Carr, when I look at every scenario possible, it's hard to pass up what they're doing with the Jets with that young talent right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying New Orleans is a poor second, but the only difference for me between New Orleans and the Meadowlands is the weather come November, December. You're playing in a dome compared to being playing outside in the cold, and he's coming off of playing in Vegas in a dome. But in terms of just the potential to do something quickly, well, you still have Buffalo on your way in the AFC East, whereas the NFC South is wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can take that division, and I don't know. That's a tough one. And boy, that's a tough one. Wow.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. All right, let's. I wanted to hit this with you guys. Speaking of new coaches, all right. So, but we're still, we're at the point now where, tell me if I'm missing anything. Broncos, Cardinals, Colts, Panthers, Texans. Did I miss anything?
Broncos, Colts, Panthers, Texans,
Cardinals, Broncos, Cardinals, Colts, Panthers, Texans.
Panthers, Texans. Wait, I got 4. Who was the 5th one? I got a brain
Broncos,
tree.
Cardinals, Colts,
Cardinals,
Panthers, Texans.
Okay.
I think that's it.
5, yeah, 5 jobs. Yep.
Okay.
That's it. Yep.
All right. So if I throw those 5 teams at you, what situation intrigues you most? Like, it doesn't even, it's not necessarily, I think they're going to be the best team. It's just, hey, I'm really curious how this looks with this guy. For me, it is Denver. Like, it is how if Sean Payton can resurrect Russell Wilson.
I agree.
I think a lot of Eagles fans are going to be looking at Steichen and Gannon and what they're doing. But
I think of the 5, there's no question the Broncos are the most complete team, or close to being the most complete team of the 5. There's no question about that. If I was a coach looking for a job, I would definitely put that one heads and shoulders above the other 4 in terms of having success sooner rather than later.
That's a
but
it's intriguing. It's definitely intriguing because you got a quarterback there that got immensely better towards the latter part of the season. You have a defense there that could help you out. And you have Sean coming in, and Sean, this the respect factor and what he's done in his career will give him a leg up on what they had there before. And it's going to be a no-nonsense type of environment now. It was probably a circus with the other guy. So, yeah, I mean, this will be a great situation, he's heading into. He's got a defensive coordinator that with those guys he has there should be able to go make a definite mark as far as defense, with the guys that he has there in that defense. So yeah, this to me, that's the most intriguing. That's the positive side of all 5 of the teams. I think the negative side of all those 5 teams is probably the Indianapolis job.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness.
Like
yes.
I don't know. I mean, the defense is okay. Offense, no quarterback. They're gonna suck. It's gonna take them a while to get up. I mean, they're probably worse off than what DeMeco Ryans has going on down in Texas with the Texans. I mean, that's a bad place too. Yeah. Even though they only have 1 starter not there, that's the tight end. They've got 3 free agents on defense that are starters and 1 on offense that's a starter. But they don't have they're void of talent, man. I'm looking at the Texans roster. They're void of talent. And then I look at, when I look at the Colts roster, they're void of talent. Mm-hmm. Both teams have no talent whatsoever. I mean, how do you build yourself a team that doesn't have any talent? And you only got like a two-year period to get them back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like it used to be, especially with that ownership that they got going
Terrible
on.
Owner. Yeah.
That's Russian roulette. You know what I'm saying? They spun the barrel, but and you know that you can, when it's your turn, you could be gone.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I tell you another spot that's really enviable is the Houston situation. You walk into a Houston situation, they have had to endure the embarrassment of firing 2 coaches in consecutive years.
But there's no talent there.
That's okay though. I get to go in and do what I want. And the owners are just so happy that I'm happy to be there. You know what? Do what you got to do. They've been embarrassed because of that. They've been embarrassed because of the Deshaun Watson situation. They paid a lot of hush money to people because of that situation. All we want people to do is look at us as a football organization. Mm-hmm. And let's get this other stuff behind us as quick as possible. And you go in there, you got high draft picks, fresh start, fresh approach, whatever you can say, whatever you say. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. They just want to turn it around down there. Mm-hmm.
Michi's back now.
Yeah, it's a decent city. You're playing in a dome. Hey, who wouldn't? Especially a guy like D'Amico. He's well respected around the league. Players who just want to get a chance to play, who are good players who just want a chance to play. I go there in a minute. I go to Houston in a minute.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Look, I'm curious what Gannon's going to do. I don't, I'm not a fan of Kyler Murray, but I want to see what his defense looks like, and if he can get Kyler Murray fixed or on track. I think there's not a lot there offensively for that team, and they're probably going to get rid of DeAndre Hopkins.
Yep.
I want no parts of dealing with that Smurf.
Green just retired from there also.
Green retired. Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So what direction do you go? That's tough.
I don't trust Murray. I don't want to deal with him.
Yeah.
No.
He's just not a leader, man. Like we used to before, this point last year, it was almost as like when everybody said intangibles, it was like a bad word or something. Because I always used to say Jalen was a guy that had intangibles. He's a great leader and he could run the ball. We didn't know anything else about him. But you look at Kyler Murray, he doesn't even have intangibles. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He has no leadership qualities or anything like that from what we see from the outside looking in.
Yep.
So I'm looking at, their roster. Wow. It's ugly, man. It's ugly.
I hear you. All right, let's come back and we'll take some chat section questions. You have a question you want to fire our way, throw a question mark in front of it in the chat, and we will get to as many as we can when we come back. But do it right when we're coming back from the break. All right, we'll get to as many as we can. A bunch of other odds and ends that we'll hit. NBA story, birthdays, some movies, all that good stuff. We'll close it out strong on a Friday. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take. Right back.
Philadelphia fans were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Go for the beers, go for the cheers, go for the hit and the hits, go for the scene, go for the screens, go for the gallery, go for the win, go to Ocean.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing, the second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs, and then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
My name is Fran Salerno, and I'm Managing Director here at Del Valle Insurance Group. Been in the business for over 36 years, saving people money on their insurance needs. Give us a call. Let us help you custom design an insurance plan that meets both your needs and budget.
All right, we are back. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody, on this Friday. We are Sports Day, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, so it looks like
I need this Friday. I need this Friday.
You do. Yeah. Are you off the entire weekend? You get a chance to chill?
Yes, I get a chance to work on my truck, finish my truck up. So,
amen, man. Good. That's what it's all about. You off tonight? You got duties tonight.
Got to work tonight. I think I might stop by the game, walk across and stop by the game, man.
Okay.
Tonight.
Little pucks. You're gonna take
it.
Okay. So it looks like the Hawks and Quinn Snyder are progressing in deal talks. We talked about this a little bit during the week. They fired Nate McMillan on Tuesday. Kind of strange, but you figured something must be up if they're doing that. And it looks like the Quinn Snyder thing is going to happen this year. He's engaged in talks with Landry Fields, who's the GM, Kyle Korver, former Sixer, is the assistant GM. And Tony Ressler, who's the owner. So that looks like that's about to happen. I think they would they have to give up compensation to the Jazz? I think they would, but I will check on that. But it looks like it's going to be happening anyway. So there's that from the NBA, and of course, we talked about it earlier. Sixers with a big win over the Grizz, and they have the Celtics tomorrow night, which is going to be a fun one for sure. All right, so let's hit a couple birthdays, and then I have an Eagles question that I want to pose to you guys and the chat. Again, if you guys have any questions, you can fire away here. All right, birthdays. Steve Jobs was born on this day in 1955. Apple, we talk about everything that he's contributed, man. It's amazing.
So, he was like Bill Gates. He also had stipulated in his will that his kid, now he was worth billions, his kids would not get the majority of his legacy. And I'm like, wow. He donated like $50 million to Stanford University Hospital, I believe. And I'm thinking, man, if anything, I would want my kids to have the most comfortable life on the planet if I was in that position. And I don't understand why you would not leave it to your children. I understand that Gates said he wants his children to find their own way, their own success. I get it, but still,
I don't get it.
What are you leaving me?
Huh?
What you mean, huh?
I'm gonna
you heard perfectly. You heard perfectly. I see. Look, you heard what I said.
I'm gonna leave you my spatulas, my tongs, and maybe a few of my seasonings.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Those are things that are very important to you.
Yes,
so, yeah.
Some of my secret seasonings.
See, there you go. Appreciate that.
I got you.
See,
Rob, I'm gonna leave a grill that you don't put charcoal in. You just have to light it up.
Yes. Thank you. I need that full child proof, as we call it. Rob proof. Yeah, that's great. No, I'm with you. I don't get I think it's awesome he donated whatever you said, $50 million to Stanford Hospital. That's great.
Yeah.
Man, every penny I leave is either, if it's not charitable, it's going to my kids, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Unfortunately, I don't know how much they're going to be left with, but that's all right. That's a different discussion. It might go the other way. I'm paying some bills. Yeah. Don't get me started.
I leave you my debt.
Yeah. Oh, anyway. Yeah, I hear you. So Steve Jobs was born on this day in 1955. Floyd Mayweather Jr. is 46 years old today. Is Floyd
50-0?
Yeah, 50-0. And I'm going to mispronounce this, so I apologize in advance. He's 34 today. Daniel Kaluuya, is that how you say it? Kaluuya. Yeah. Okay, really good actor. I just can't pronounce his last name.
Get Out.
What Get Out. You see him in Judas and the Black Messiah? You ever see that?
He's really good in that as well. Yeah. That guy's intense. He's good in everything he's in. He's really good. Phil Knight's 85 today. Nike.
Phil Knight.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Still very active. He was at the game where LeBron set the all-time scoring mark. Kristen Davis from Sex and the City. The actress is 58 years old today.
Yep.
Billy Zane, he was in Titanic and a bunch of other stuff. He's 57 today.
Yep.
The old actor Abe Vigoda, who played Fish.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That was around forever, man. Yeah.
He was in The Godfather, too. He got whacked in The Godfather.
Yes, correct. Yep. So he was born on this day in 1921. The comedian Mitch Hedberg was born on this day in 1968. Very funny guy, passed away really young, drug overdose, but was a very funny comedian. Edward James Olmos is 76 years old today.
That dude is one of the smoothest actors in TV.
Yes. Whether it was Miami Vice.
Yeah, man.
What was it? Stand and Deliver. You ever see that movie with Blue Diamond Phillips? He's a teacher in the barrio in LA.
I didn't see that one.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, he is good, man. He's a good actor.
He was in Selena, Two Guns.
Yep.
With Denzel and Mark Wahlberg. That was a good movie.
Very intense. He is an intense guy also. Well, he's just got that look too. He just commands the room when you look at him. O'Shea Jackson, who was Ice Cube's son, who played Ice Cube in the NWA movie. He is
straight out of Compton.
Yeah, 33 years old. He's
dude,
good
if
actor.
there was ever a son who looked like his father.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm telling you, in the movie, I'm thinking, first time I saw him, I'm like, how did they computer alter Ice Cube? I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He does, man. He looks just like his dad. It's crazy. All right, so that's O'Shea, and then I have Dominic Chianese, who is 92 today. He played Uncle Junior in The Sopranos. He's still around. He was in Godfather 2, Dominic Chianese. George Thorogood is a Delaware guy from Wilmington, is 73 years old, the rock and roller. John Vernon.
Bad to the bone.
Bad to the bone, yep. John Vernon, who was the principal or the was he like the president of the college in Animal House?
Yep.
0.0. Great point.
You know, I liked him better in the movie The Outlaw Josie Wales. He was playing part of the soldiers that were chasing Josie Wales.
He was a bad guy.
He was a bad guy, yeah. He had a good role for him.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Dirty Harry, yep.
He was a Dirty Harry, yep. 1874, Honus Wagner, the great baseball player, played for the Pirates. Was one of the all-time greats back in the day. Speaking of great baseball players, Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray was a hitting machine.
Yes.
Switch hitter, had power, would hit for average, had the best sideburns you ever saw in your life. He had the pork chop.
You know, he remind me of Walt Frazier of the Knicks.
They do look alike.
Yes.
Same facial hair. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. Brian Flores, now the defensive coordinator with the Vikings, is 42 today. Jeff Garcia.
I'm your baby.
Yep.
He's your baby.
Philadelphia. Yeah. He's 53 today is Jeff. That's all I got for birthdays. What do you guys have?
Oh,
got a lot. All right, go.
I got a list.
Do it.
Leighton Hewitt, the tennis player.
Yep.
42. The actress Bonnie Somerville's 49. Sebastian Marroquin, who's the son of Pablo Escobar, is 46.
Ooh, okay.
Deborah Jo Rupp, who played That 70s Show, is 72. Priscilla Chan, the wife of Mark Zuckerberg, is 38. Elaine Prost, Formula One driver, is 67. Paula Zahn, news anchor.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's 67. She's 67
really?
now, yeah. Barry Bostwick, actor, 78. Emilio Rivera from Sons of Anarchy is 61. Am I taking all yours, B. Brooks? Do I need to leave you some?
No, go ahead.
Okay, Jimmy Ellis, the former heavyweight champion who got knocked out by Joe Frazier, is 74. Remember the name Fred Dean? He used to play for the 49ers.
Oh, yeah. Good player. Good player.
He's 68. Colts former safety Bob Sanders is 41.
Love Bob Sanders.
Bob.
Former Eagle Cameron Johnston, now punter of the Texans, is 30.
We miss him.
I know.
We miss you, Cam.
Yeah, we do.
The running back used to play for Denver. Royce Freeman, who happens to be from the valley where I lived, where I met my wife. He went to Imperial Valley High School. Royce Freeman, 26.
Okay.
Simeon Rice, the defensive end, is 40.
Simeon Rice. Okay.
Yeah, 48.
Played against for years.
He played against. Didn't he and Donovan go to the same high school?
Yes.
Chicago.
Yep, in Chicago. Yep.
Yeah.
Dwayne Allen, the tight end, former tight end, is 32. Dominic Easley, remember him? DN.
Okay.
He's 30. And Miguel Rojas, infielder, is 33.
Good player. Good player. All right, Barrett, you got any B days?
Just one more. Callan Mulvey.
Mm-hmm.
He played Captain America. He was the bad guy, a Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So that's my last one.
All right. I got a couple movies. It's weak. But Get Out. I think we talked about it a little bit earlier. 2017. Medea's Family Reunion, 2006.
How many Medea movies are there? Every month we talk about a Medea movie.
Tyler Perry cranks them out. I don't know, man. The dude's a machine.
That's why he's so rich. He's a billionaire.
Yeah. No, that dude. He never stops working. I'll give him that. He's always got something, man. All right, that's all I got. Birthdays. You guys have any? You
mean movies? What about Act of Valor from 2012?
That's a good one. Yeah.
And then Wanderlust 2012 also.
Okay.
I didn't see that.
Here's the question I have, just to circle it back to, we were talking about the Eagles a little bit earlier. We had JAKIB and we had Scott Fransky. If you missed any of that, just go to JAKIBsports.com or JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. You can watch those interviews or the shows in their entirety or chunks of the shows, whatever works for you. It's great. You can always go back and watch. So the question I have here is, guys, specific to Hurts' contract, who blinks first? Do the Eagles get this done, or is it wait and see on Lamar Jackson? Wait and see on some other guys who may not be up, but are up for extensions. How does this play out?
I think the Eagles will blink first because they want to try to get it done before other numbers come out.
Yep.
What are the Jets going to pay, or the Saints going to pay Jimmy Garoppolo or Derek Carr? What is Lamar Jackson going to get? I think Howie wants this done before all that stuff comes out, because if they sit back and wait, they may have to revamp their numbers, which they don't want to do, which could also hurt them trying to sign somebody else.
They want to set the market. They don't want to have anybody set it for them.
Yeah.
That's why they go out and they make sure that they sign guys prematurely. Guys sign deals prematurely. It's great for the Eagles and the organization because they get them under fair market value. So they've done this for years. Right now, they really want to sign somebody right as fast as they can, because look at all the free agent guys that come out that are eligible, and all the guys also that are eligible at this point to sign deals. Not just the guys that are free agent, but the guys that are eligible to sign deals. They want to sign very quick, so they don't have to worry about jumping up and competing with the numbers that are about. Because it's in about another week and a half, the numbers are going to be crazy on how guys are getting signed. Especially, I say like 4 or 5 days before free agency starts, they're going to be astronomical numbers. You know, there's going to be probably a $500 million contract signed this year.
Yeah.
You know, before
10 years,
starts.
$500 million is not out of the question.
So a $500 million contract is waiting right there. So they want to sign that before that happens. They want to sign it before it, and they want to get Jalen at a basement bargain price.
Yeah, how about that? Have a basement bargain price.
$50 million basement bargain. That's crazy.
Right, but no, Barrett, you're right. The Eagles' MO on this stuff has almost always been get ahead of the curve on it, or as best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the thing: there's no secrets here. Like he had a great year, he had a great Super Bowl. The Eagles know they're going to have to pony up more than they're probably comfortable with, but they have to get it done. So the sooner you do it, the better. I'll make a prediction and say he signed before Lamar Jackson signed.
Definitely. There's no need to play around with it, guys. Why play around with it? Now, what's crazy to me is why don't they have a coordinator yet? Why don't they? To me, this is idiotic.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for them to go. So they can't go in the direction they want to go until they get the coordinator they want to get.
I know. I just get the impression they don't. It's not that they don't. Maybe they're just not 100% sold on Denard Wilson. and or they're just trying to glean as much info off of other guys that they can and maybe utilize that with him. This could all be a ruse where they're interviewing guys just trying to collect data and philosophies, and then they just incorporate it into what Denard is doing. That's possible.
You got a point there.
Yeah, it's
you definitely
possible.
got a point there. That's because why would you want to change something that they feel was very, very successful in the first place?
Right.
They loved Gannon's coaching style.
Yeah.
They wanted Gannon to stay.
And Denard's
So
going
why
to
not-
mirror that. Yeah, Denard's
exactly.
gonna
So
mirror
why not leave a guy there that's going to mirror that? Why go out and try to change that up?
Good question.
Yeah.
They enjoyed what they had in Gannon. They were buzzing about him. So
Right.
it could be that they're doing their research, but I think more so it's starting to push me more and more towards Kennard, or what's his name?
Denard Wilson.
Denard. I'm sorry, Denard. Because they went out and they were trying to sign guys that were more aggressive. But more aggressive doesn't necessarily mean great defense. I mean, they go out and try to hire the guy from Michigan. He was in that same system. Minter, yeah. He was in that same system that blitzed all the time when they had, guys like the coordinator, this Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
He was in Martindale's system. So they blitz a lot. They blitz a lot. So that's a defensive mindset they want to bring to house. To me, that's, I think they want to be more aggressive, but I just can't see them right now at this point. Why aren't they signing somebody ASAP? You're just wasting time. We don't have the time that other teams have had to do that, do that research and everything else. We got to get on the stick and be ready to rock, man.
Well, see, Tone seems to think that both coordinators' jobs are already locked in already. They're just doing their due diligence.
I think it's possible.
Could be some truth to that.
A lot of truth to that. Yeah.
And they like to announce both at the same time. All right. John McMullen was on Birds 365 today, his show with Jody Mack, and suggested that Jacoby Brissett would be a good backup for Jalen. I actually love that.
Yeah,
I do too.
That would be a good backup for him. He could run the
Question
same
is he going to get out of Cleveland? Probably. You're right. Probably. Is he going to come at a real cheap number? Because you're going to need your backup quarterback to be at a pretty cheap number.
I don't see that happening.
That's the issue.
Yeah, he's done too much to be that cheap.
Like, is he really going to be? Well, Minshew was still on his rookie deal, right? So I don't. That's the other thing. Minshew's not getting a starting job.
No.
So he might be back.
That's a possibility. And I just saw that the Lions cut Michael Brocker, saving $10 million in cap space. So here we go with some free agents that could, miss out on big money free agency that could be sitting there that the Eagles may have to fill the rosters with again. Michael Brockers is a good DN.
Some pretty good names today. Brockers and Bobby Wagner.
Yes, Bobby Wagner.
The Eagles aren't the only one having cap issues.
No,
now they're going to lose. They may lose players to free agency. They're not going to have to cut good players.
And you were telling me before, Degon, what are they like 10 mil around the cap right now?
Around 9+ on cap space right now.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you Howie's already working trying to clear up more space.
Oh,
especially with the cap going up 20 million this year. 16 to 20 million this year.
Yeah.
So, they're gonna bid on some people, but I think they're gonna have to bid on other people more so than their own people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with you. So Tone is saying that Spotrac, which is an excellent site for salaries and whatnot, he says that they have Brissett at like 5.4 per year.
That's not bad.
That's cheap, actually.
That's not bad. Considering
Jalen's missed time the last 2 years, and he's a guy who, let's face it, the ball's in his hands a lot. You have to pay your backup a little bit more, maybe. I'm okay with that. I would feel good about Brissett as my backup.
He'd be great because he could run the same system.
Yep.
Yeah.
They could run the same system.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's a possibility. That's something to keep your eye on for sure. All right. So this weekend, the big game is tomorrow night. It's the Sixers and the Celtics. And that's part of that that schedule, that challenging schedule, and so far so good. They passed the first test last night as they beat the Grizzlies, but they have the Celtics at 8:30 tomorrow night. Then it's Miami at home on Monday, and then at Miami Wednesday, and then they'll see Kyrie Irving and Luka at Dallas on Thursday. Yeah, man. And then Saturday, another primetime game against the Milwaukee Bucks.
Let's get it.
What a week. What a week coming up. Philly's at it tomorrow. And we'll see if there's any Eagles news. We'll have you covered for it. That's for sure, because it's going to be it's going to start happening fast and furious in the NFL. That's for sure. But we're still waiting on the coordinator, still waiting on any kind of extension for Jalen. There's a lot of holding patterns. By the Flyers and Barrett mentioned that he might I guess pop in on them tonight. Let me see what they have. How difficult.
Barrett going to a hockey game?
The hockey, man. The hockey.
Yeah, they play host to Montreal tonight, and then they're at Jersey tomorrow. So I'm
gonna meet Captain Tony's daughter's going there. Her job is gave her tickets, so I'm gonna go there and stop down and check her out.
Nice. All right.
Tell the truth. You going for the free food? Tell the truth.
It's chicken and peas, man.
Free food.
Yeah,
that's a perk.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, I don't turn down chicken and peas.
Chicken and peas, baby.
Beautiful. Crab fries. All right. That's going to do it for us. Want to thank Tone. Tone did an excellent job all week.
Great job, Tone.
Yeah,
you survived this, Tone.
Yeah, early.
We had to bring in the righty. We brought in the righty.
Right.
You did all right, bro.
He was ready, man. He came in firing.
Yep.
I want to thank everybody in the chat section, everybody streaming, everybody listening. We do appreciate you guys. Please tell a friend, spread the word about the entire network, JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. Don't go anywhere. We have 3 hours of power with Dan Cilio. And
I'll be on at 3:30 with Dan.
Go ahead, man.
Put the Barrett on there. Beautiful.
Go ahead. Sensationalize, baby. Do what you do.
Enjoy your weekend, guys. Enjoy your weekend, everybody who has been hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. For D Gunn, for Barrett Brooks, I'm Rob Ellis. We will see you Monday at the same time. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.